work on the schedule.
Fox's Peter Ducey. Ted Cruz will be in Las Vegas this weekend, courting big donors, addressing the Republican-Jewish coalition. The search continues for a Washington State psychiatric hospital escapee. The focus is on Spokane, where Anthony Garver went to his parents' house. He was found too mentally ill to stand trial for 2013 torture and murder. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly cloudy skies, 35 degrees. It is 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A firefighter recovering this morning after a blaze broke out at U.S. Cellular Field. Fire began early this morning in a first-floor kitchen area or part of an office near a kitchen. Firefighter was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. White Sox home opener is scheduled for later this afternoon. Man is dead after he was struck by a CTA Blue Line train on the northwest side. Police say the victim was killed last night near the Jefferson Park station. Service for a portion of the Blue Line was suspended for several hours as investigators probe that incident. Karen Lewis remains president of the Chicago Teachers Union without launching a campaign. Lewis won another 3-year term after union delegates voted this week to cancel an election for officers because no one has stepped forward to challenge her. A Park Forest police officer shot in the line of duty is out of intensive care. Timothy Jones has been moved to a rehab center. His condition has stabilized. The Chicago Archdiocese says among the reasons it is facing financial pressure are the anticipated multi-million-dollar settlements from priest sex abuse cases. In a statement released on the church's financial health, Archbishop Blaise Cupich says the cost of misconduct is one of the drivers of negative net worth. Republicans in the General Assembly in Springfield are proposing a $1.3 billion spending plan to cover human services. Christine Radonio is minority leader in the Senate. She and her House counterpart Jim Durkin say most of the money would come from state funds set up for special purposes. President Barack Obama telling the University of Chicago law students if Senate Republicans hold up their blockade on Merrick Garland's Supreme Court nomination, the judicial system will soon be viewed as merely an extension of partisan politics. Obama made the statements on a return to the school where he taught constitutional law part-time. And the city of Rockford is planning a big-time celebration for a hometown band, Cheap Trick, and their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The band will be inducted later tonight. This afternoon, Rockford Area Convention and Visitors Bureau has several surprises to honor the band members. That band formed in Rockford in 1973. Chicago sports, NBA, Miami beat the Bulls 106-98. Playoffs are probably too tall a task for this squad. White Sox over Oakland 6-1. Cubs over Arizona 14-6. Last night in the NHL, St. Louis topped the Blackhawks in OT 2-1. So the Blackhawks do not get home ice. Steph Curry and his Golden State Warriors became the second team to win 70 games in a season, beating San Antonio 112-101 last night. And your Masters leader is Jordan Spieth. The news service of Cabela's. It's spring. Time to get catching and cooking. Don't miss Cabela's Spring Great Outdoor Days, their biggest sale of the season. Get 30% off all Cabela's rods and 25% off Cabela's cast iron starter set in Hoffman Estates or Hammond, Indiana. Online, Cabela's.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge.
Dave Ramsey.
The reason you're in debt is behavior, not math. The way you get out of debt is behavior, change, not math. You can't borrow your way out of debt. How many times have you heard someone say, I had a whole bunch of credit card debt and I paid it off by getting a second mortgage? You didn't pay it off. You moved it.
The Dave Ramsey Show. Weeknights starting at 7, right before Michael Medved at 10. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
I do like taking Balance of Nature. I feel very good about that product. I think the integrity of producing the product is good. And I feel if I just had Balance of Nature, I'd be happy.
This is the first year of my life I've never gotten sick. I didn't even get a cold sore. I usually get 2 or 3 a year, and I love your product. You guys do a great job, and thank you very much, Doc.
You know what I just feel as if out of everything out there, it just makes the most sense.
Since I've been taking that, no heartburn, because usually after I eat supper, hour after I eat supper, I'd get heartburn. I don't get heartburn no more. But I'll tell you right now, that's some product.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
507 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, back in the deep, dark reaches of his closet. Here's a man who I really think probably has an LP, a real album, of Cheap Trick's Live at Budokan somewhere.
Mike, good morning. I had several Cheap Trick albums back when I was a youngster, and I suspect a couple of them are still floating around, you're right, in a closet. So, good call. Southwest side of Chicago, got a crash in the 7100 block of West Archer, not far from Harlem. This is a vehicle into a building. Archer and Harlem are both open. The expressways and tollways look great on this opening day on the south side. No delays to report. Overnight work is gone across the board. There's some new work in Michigan City that's going to be long-term work. You're headed that way today or on future weekends during the spring and summer. There is still some fire investigation on the south side after that earlier ballpark fire, but this isn't causing any traffic issues right now. You will have traffic issues tomorrow with the half marathon and Lakefront 50K going on along the lakefront. Traffic is a service as well of Cabela's. It's spring, time to get catching and cooking. Don't miss Cabela's Spring Great Outdoor Days, their biggest sale of the season. Get 30% off all Cabela's rods and 25% off Cabela's cast iron starter set in Hoffman Estates or Hammond and online at Cabela's.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today will be mostly cloudy, windier, and chilly. A rain or snow shower in spots for the morning, followed by rain and snow showers for the afternoon. Little or no accumulation. High today 42. A snow shower around tonight. Clouds then breaking, low 24. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
34 at O'Hare, 38 along the lakefront, 36 at Midway. Next news, 5:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show. Tune in on Saturday mornings at 8 to learn how you might fight foreclosure and keep your home.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Our friends in the media tell us that Donald Trump is unstoppable in New York State.
It might seem like a fairy tale for Hillary Clinton to be riding the subway.
I love it because it's so convenient. It is just the best way to get around.
Maybe the American people might wonder about your qualifications, Madam Secretary, when you voted for the war in Iraq.
You are defending the people who killed the lives you say matter. Tell the truth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Ding, 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 ding. Bruce Wolf and Deb Rowe.
Good morning.
Good morning. In for Dan and Amy. They'll be reporting from Cabo. I actually saw a picture yesterday. They tweeted out of Dan lying on in a tee box at a golf course down there with the tee sticking out of his mouth and the golf ball on top of it, and Amy in the middle of her backswing, or at the end of her backswing, ready to hit the ball. And I got to tell you, being a guy who did shoot a 79 his last round of the year last year, her form is not very good. Now, it was a little distracting because she was wearing the bikini top from the Craig Stevick alleged murder collection. But no, she wasn't wearing that. But that's a fun shot there. No, I was watching the Masters though yesterday.
But no, I didn't.
Did you see? Did you hear about Ernie Els'?
Yes.
By the way, it's not pronounced Els. It's like Liza with an S, not Lisa with his
Z.
Liza with a Z, not Lisa with an S. Did you ever see Liza Minnelli in concert?
Yes, I have.
Really?
Yes, I
Me too,
have.
girlfriend.
Well, where was it?
Erie Crown Theater.
No, I didn't see it.
Where did you
there.
see her?
I saw it at, it wasn't the Allstate. It was down.
Rosemont Horizon.
There, thank
well,
you.
it is the Allstate Arena
yeah,
now.
but it wasn't then.
Yeah, right. Here's the thing. I see her at Erie Crown Theater, as I recall, every seat was a bad one, even in the front row. But I remember seeing Liza Minnelli like 1973.
I saw her in 1987 at the whatever it was, the Rosemont Horizon, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And my new husband, he said, "Okay, I'll take you." He didn't want to go,
of course,
because he knows I love shows, show tunes and all that kind of cabaret stuff.
I didn't realize that we had that in common. Here's day 5, our last day together.
But
do you realize we're never going to see each other?
I don't. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. When we get to the show, we had good seats, and as the show's going on, I see he has moved up in his seat, and then when we were done, he was like, "That was a really good show." I said, "I told you."
Because
I told you.
And that was the beginning of your great relationship.
Of our marriage.
And your whole marriage has been a cabaret, old chum.
Old chum.
Life is a cabaret. Now, she kind of let herself go.
Well, she can't help that. Now, come on.
Because if you saw her on Arrested Development or on Family Guy, where they basically drew her like, who was in The Little Mermaid,
I don't know.
The bad woman or anything like that. She kind of looked like one giant. Ursula. Thank you so much. Ursula is right. Ding, 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 ding. Dave gets to, was that Dave that was talking in my head right now? Whoever said that gets the rest of the day off. So, yeah.
She can't help it, Bruce.
No,
How
she was
old
kind
is
of like,
Liza?
well, here's the thing. It's the second law of thermodynamics. Everything is, the universe is expanding and dying. And so, we all kind of sag towards the end. But let's not sag. This is our last day. And Kaminsky Field, there was a fire last night, or this morning.
You can say Kaminsky Field now?
Well, the President of the United States called it Kaminsky Field, didn't he? That's what he
That's what
originally said. He was a big White Sox fan at Kaminsky Field. So there was a fire. Well, I still refuse to, because U.S. Cellular is not paying me any money. Right. So why do I have to call them that? So there was a fire, as Mike Scott was reporting, in the kitchen or in room next to that. And Mike was, telling me before class started today that if a firefighter is injured, they have to have an investigation. Now, apparently it was a minor injury. It's non-life threatening. I don't know if that's minor.
Right.
But what if, heaven forfend, they would have to shut down the ballpark today because, they had an investigation of, crime scene or a fire scene. Mm-hmm. By the way, shouldn't the fire have been put out by, get ready for a rim shot here in like 5 seconds, by Dave Robertson, the White Sox closer, otherwise known as the fireman?
That was a delayed.
By the way, that was the drummer from Cheap Trick. We're not gonna be talking to any member of Cheap Trick later in the show, but Cheap Trick's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah. So we're going to talk to somebody from the Rockford Chamber of Commerce, because that's where Cheap Trick's from.
Please clap.
And that's the sound of one of your husband's hands clapping for Liza Minnelli. So,
but,
yeah.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, is that appropriately named?
What should it be called? The Philharmonic Hall of Fame?
The Music Hall of Fame.
Well, it's not just music. It's rock and roll, which, by the way, the idea of rock and roll is about teenage angst. It's about sexual awakening. The idea that you'd put fossils in there. That you're entombed in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'd never want to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame if I were a rocker. But these guys are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then the ghosts of them, like Mick Jagger, go on touring forever and ever.
Well, I'm saying, I'm glad you explained it that way with the teen angst and all of that. Then it makes more sense. But if you just say the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you look at the long list of inductees, it's not necessarily a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, it's not like Sir George Solti, the late Sir George Solti, the conductor of the Chicago Symphony, is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. There's another Hall of Fame I believe, in Vienna. I just made that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
it would have made sense,
for
but okay.
for symphony members. But you're not going to have a it's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rock and roll loosely defined.
Thank you.
Anybody
That's
can be
all I was trying to say.
I think Liza Minnelli could actually qualify
that would
for
be
the
wonderful.
Life is the cabaret.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Now it's time for a look at the weather with Deborah.
Good morning. Today, a morning rain or snow shower, then rain and snow showers, a high today of 42. Tonight, a snow shower early, clouds breaking, wind subsiding. This doesn't sound good. Colder and a low of 24, and then tomorrow, breezy and cold with times of clouds and sun, snow and ice at night, a high of 40. Good morning, Jim Talamonte. What's happening on the roads?
Good morning, Deborah and Bruce. Well, yeah, at the ballpark this morning, Cubs don't get this kind of weather, do they, when they're at home to open the season? But it's going to be rough out there for White Sox fans today. The game starts at 3:10, so you'll have plenty of traffic around the ballpark starting in the late morning and especially the early afternoon hours. And, of course, tonight after the games, figure that into your evening travels. The fire investigation, there's not affecting any of the streets in the area. Everything is open. There's a crash on the southwest side. Archer, not far from Harlem, the 7100 block of West Archer, but Archer and Harlem are open. The expressways and tollways right now are looking great. All overnight work is gone. No delays, incidents, crashes, or problems for now. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today. CertaPro.com. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Grandview Capital buys homes. If you have a home to sell and it has problems, we will make you a no-obligation cash offer and close fast. If your home is badly outdated, we will buy it. Water damage, mold, or junk up to the rafters, we will buy your home as is. If you have a home that is vacant or soon to be, and you want to avoid the exhausting and stressful ordeal of maintaining it, paying taxes on it, or attempting to sell it, let Grandview buy your home today. We'll give you a fair offer with no obligation, pay you cash, and close on your timetable. Leave the stress and the mess to us. To sell your distressed or vacant home quickly with no commissions and without repairs, call Grandview at 1-800-USA-HOMES. We will buy your home today. Call 1-800-USA-HOMES or visit gvcproperty.com. That's gvcproperty.com. Call the name you can trust, Grandview Capital, accredited by the Better Business Bureau.
The stock market seems like it's in turmoil. 2016 has already proven to be a roller coaster ride. Is there another big correction on the horizon? Are you prepared? Or are you at the mercy of stockbrokers if it does happen? Let Online Trading Academy teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times. They offer professional trading and investing education for every skill level. They'll teach you a rules-based strategy, trading on knowledge, not speculations, so you can identify market changes before they happen. Online Trading Academy has a state-of-the-art educational facility centrally located in Lombard. Call today, 888-601-TRADE. That's 888-601-8723 to attend a free half-day course. Call now and mention you heard this message on AM 560 The Answer, and they'll send you home with a free home video study course valued at $247 just for attending. This is a great opportunity to learn from the pros. Reservations are limited, so call now, 888-601-8723 or online at freeotaclass.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book, and the broom. It's time for a holiday.
yeah.
Life
Welcome, bienvenue, welcome to the show. Bruce Wolf and Deb Rowe in for. All right, Liza, quiet. Oh, you give her a mic. You know, she never met a microphone she didn't like.
She's a show woman. I love her.
Well, I mean, she's the daughter. I mean, she's second generation.
That's right.
I mean, Judy Garland's daughter. I mean, and Liza, she's probably about 70
That's
right
what
now.
I was thinking.
Well, Judy Garland, Judy Garland died at the age of 47?
And I hate to say this, the poor woman was just run down.
Well, here's the thing. They used to bring Judy Garland on stage, and people would go to see her, to see her break down on stage. Oh, yeah. You think people have gotten crueler and crueler? No. We're talking about just a few years removed from the Inquisition when Judy Garland was performing. They'd watch her break down. I mean, that's Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. I actually went to Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's studios.
Really?
Have you ever gone out there and visited?
No.
And you go in there and you go to the lot where they filmed The Wizard of Oz. You walk in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the biggest disappointment in the world because all it is an empty warehouse. I mean, and it's concrete, and you're trying to imagine everything that happened.
Like?
It's just like your own garage. Your own garage is more interesting than that.
It sounds
At least it has
like
like a bicycle or a car in it.
Something.
Yeah.
The way I felt, I had to come into WGN to take a news writing test for a job once.
TV or radio?
TV.
So that's even less substantive.
But
yes.
When I was done, I asked someone, "Can I see where Bozo Circus was?"
Yeah.
And when they went and opened up the little stage area, I was crushed.
How small it is.
I was so hurt.
How about I'll see your Bozo and raise you a Letterman.
Okay.
You go to Letterman's set,
Mm-hmm.
but this is back when he was still at NBC, I think.
Okay.
Because I was working for the NBC radio network at the time, and I'm in New York. They show me the Letterman set. I mean, the desk is about the size of your elbow. There was nothing. There was nothing there. It's all magic. It's
Yes,
the magic
it
that's
is.
created here.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I was crushed that day.
Yeah.
Because
you know what also crushed me?
What?
Was going to Fenway Park.
Mm-hmm.
I visited there. Before a game, I said I'm in the press or whatever. I don't want to stay for the game. I just want to go there because we were making a tour of New England. And you go in there and you see, the Green Monster, the left field wall, Carlton Fisk waving the ball over the fair in 1975. That great Green Monster there looks like a ping pong table on its side. There's nothing to the Green Monster. It's a zero. Yes, unbelievable. Yeah. You know, Hulk Hogan is actually 3'9".
Now,
it's
come
all
on, Bruce.
imagery. Yes, yes. No, I mean, yeah. No, well, you know the phrase "no man is a hero to his valet." I mean, when you meet people up close, like take Carol Marine. Okay, I thought she was the most daunting. She's got that stern, authoritative voice, and she's the voice of the great news anchor, and not just an airhead news anchor, but somebody who really has substance. She's a little girl.
Yeah,
she's very much. I mean, she has that, but she's also very much a little girl. You get close up to these people. Ron Majors. Are you kidding me? The most sensitive, ridiculous man in the world. Yet there are some virtues. No person is one thing.
None.
We are all. What a piece of work is man, is what I always say.
Well, we're very complex. No question about it. Thank you for that, Dave.
Oh boy.
You had a story you wanted to kick open this morning.
No, you told me before the show started, turn it into a technical workshop. We can't. We've got to wade into it. The folks don't want us to hit all the substance, the meat of it. And I say, what about the people that get up at 5 o'clock in the morning? They want to get their dose of Obama bashing, too. Do we have time for a little Obama bashing right here? There we go.
Well, that was the 8s anyways.
Tell you what, meeting Sam Kinison,
yeah,
one of the greatest thrills. He actually laughed on the radio at me doing Chet Chit Chat. That is the greatest. So I lived for 5 years with Dan Proft, never laughing once at Chet Chit Chat. But Sam Kinison did. And nobody was funnier than Sam Kinison. Nobody.
This quote applies to you.
Yes.
Enough about me.
Exactly.
But what do you think about what
exactly.
All right, go on.
All right, so Barack Obama is in the United States. He's here yesterday. And enough about me. My daughter texts me, what's going on? I'm on the inbound Edens. There's no traffic ahead, and I'm stopped. They stopped me. I said, it's probably the president, and it was. And she was upset. She had things to do. I said, you're going to see history. And I wasn't being sarcastic. the motorcade's going to go by. So then she starts posting pictures on Facebook and everything, and it looked like a line of cars in the turn at the Indy 500 because they're all waiting to zoom in. So anyway, Obama's there to defend Merrick Garland, and he gets somebody challenging him at the University of Chicago Law School. Oh, this is a white guy. Another white guy. I mean, to me, it's another Jew. It's going to be the fourth Jew on the Supreme Court. Okay, but here's what Obama had to say.
At no point did I say, "Oh, you know what? I need a black lesbian, from Skokie, in that slot. Can you find me one?"
Now here's the thing. Yeah. It's interesting because I self-identify as a black lesbian from Skokie. And the thing is, I could have been named in the court. Well, I'm from Skokie, okay? And the guy he chose was from the suburb next over, Merrick Garland, from Lincolnwood.
But he scored 400 points more than you did.
On the SAT.
On the SAT.
Yeah, right. I can't believe you actually listened to this show. I just thought that you were off in another world.
No, I
So
listen.
anyway, isn't that great that Obama turns out to be insensitive to political correctness? Because that's the left. They will eat their own. They've got to have the LGBT with Mayo on the side. They've got to have that. And Obama winds up being, like a reactionary.
But you know why?
Why?
Because I won. Remember he said that?
That's right.
I won,
and I'm going to use my executive authority
I'll do what I
to
want.
undermine the Constitution. More on that later, because there's a big Supreme Court case coming up about that with regard to immigration. Yes, I'm in charge now, said Alexander Haig, a.k.a. Bruce Wolf.
And remember, the Lord loves a working man.
Lord loves a working man.
And son, don't never, ever trust Whitey.
Don't trust Whitey. Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
There are two kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders, as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. There's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Air Filter Engineers, how can we help you?
Hi, I'm Mike, Chief Engineer at the big building on South Wabash. I wanted to let you know that ever since I started using your company to provide my air filters, everything's been great. We have less people calling in sick because of the improved air quality, energy bills have gone down, and your customer service and deliveries have been excellent. You guys really make my job easier.
We try hard, Mike. Is there anything we can help you with today?
No, it's just that my mother told me not to say anything unless I have something good to say. This is the first time I've been able to speak today.
Ah, it's 4 o'clock.
I know. Thanks for listening.
New local businesses get their first order delivered free when they mention AM 560. Minimum order supply, 630-384-0400. That's 630-384-0400. Or find them online at filterexperts.com. That's filterexperts.com. Air Filter Engineers, providing Chicagoland with cleaner air.
AM 560, The Answer.
Bruce Wolf and Deb Rowe coming up. Dan and Amy are in Cabo. We're going to hear how much they drank yesterday, and we'll be talking about matters. Hillary Clinton trying to board their version of the L, I guess it's the subway in New York.
She knew exactly what she was doing, right?
And now it's time for the news with Mike Scott.
Bruce and Deborah, good morning. 35 outside. Secretary of State John Kerry making an unannounced trip to Iraq this morning in a bid to help out that country's Prime Minister, Haydar al-Abadi. Prime Minister shook up Iraq's political elites last week when he moved to change his cabinet. Bill Clinton defending his presidency as he campaigns for his wife.
You are defending the people who kill the lives you say matter. Tell the truth.
Bill Clinton was harassed by Black Lives Matter protesters during an appearance in Philadelphia yesterday. Democrat presidential candidate Bernie Sanders says he has no regrets now about calling rival Hillary Clinton unqualified to be president.
She has attacked me for being unqualified. And if I'm going to be attacked for being unqualified, I will respond in kind.
The Vermont senator stopped by NBC's Late Night, telling host Seth Meyers he made the change after Clinton and her campaign said the same things about him. Presidential candidate Donald Trump putting his campaign focus on New York. The GOP frontrunner clearing his schedule of events in California and Colorado so he can concentrate on the Empire State. New DNA evidence reveals a former Navy sailor spent 30 years in prison for a murder he did not commit. The Virginia State Court ordered Keith Hayward to be released because DNA evidence showed he did not murder a man or rape that victim's wife. An investigation of Veterans Affairs Medical Facility shows that in at least 7 states, patient wait times were falsified to make it look like they were meeting standards. President Obama making a big push for his Supreme Court pick here in Chicago.
Merrick Garland is an extraordinary jurist who is indisputably qualified to serve on the highest court of the land, and nobody really argues otherwise.
The University of Chicago Law School hosted the president yesterday. A now former state trooper in Indiana is out of a job because he quizzed people about their religion after stopping them for traffic violations. The Indiana State Police dismissed senior trooper Brian Hamilton after he was accused a second time of witnessing to drivers that he stopped. Firefighter is recovering after a blaze broke out at U.S. Cellular Field on opening day morning. Fire began early this morning in a first-floor kitchen near the offices of the stadium. Firefighter was hospitalized for non-life-threatening injuries. And about 25 Illinois State University students attended a county board meeting to complain that many of their classmates had to wait for hours to cast ballots in last month's primary election. McLean County board members say they'll hold special meetings at the university on the topic, and the county clerk says they're moving voting to a bigger space on campus, bringing in more equipment and doubling the number of election judges. Chicago sports, Miami beat the Bulls, White Sox top Oakland, Cubs over Arizona. In the NHL, St. Louis tops the Blackhawks 2-1 in overtime, and that denies the Blackhawks home ice during the playoffs. The news, a service of Cabela's. Springtime, time to get catching and cooking. Don't miss Cabela's Spring Great Outdoor Days, the biggest sale of the season. 30% off all Cabela's rods and 25% off Cabela's cast iron starter set in Hoffman Estates or Hammond, online at Cabela's.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I believe what we need in America today is more love and kindness.
The Joe Walsh Show.
We've had so much love and kindness. We have been like parents who have indulged our kids. Parents who've never said no. Parents who've never set a curfew. We don't need love and kindness. This country needs a kick in the butt.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Antiques, vintage collectibles, and more. The Antique Market is this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds, Grays Lake. Saturday 9 to 4, Sunday 9 to 3. ZircoPromotions.com.
It's panic time. The boss just asked you when that new building will be completed, and you haven't even started yet. Well, don't panic. Call the name you know. General Steel. You've known General Steel for decades, and you know they'll save you about half the cost and about half the time of conventional construction. But did you know that General Steel has provided buildings for some of the biggest names in business and government? And did you know the General can provide pre-construction planning services for your total project? And I'll bet you didn't know you can get General Steel quality and save thousands. For example, a 40-foot by 60-foot building for under $22,000, or a 50 by 100 for under $35,000. That's That's right, 5,000 square feet for under $35,000, and all with General Steel's 50-year structural warranty. So don't panic. Call now and lock in some of the lowest prices this year. 866-96-STEEL. Call 866-96-STEEL today. Quick, the boss is coming. That's 866-967-8335.
It is 5:36. In our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Police and fire crews are investigating after that earlier fire at U.S. Cellular Field. This is not affecting any streets around 35th and Shields. But of course, there'll be plenty of traffic there later. The game today, set to start at 3:10. So traffic before the game and affecting also the afternoon rush. The inbound Ryan is now getting heavy, not with ballpark traffic, but the regular morning rush. It's slow 95th to 83rd. Then from Cermak into the Burn Circle. So it's 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound Fond at 15. Inbound Bishop Ford, it's a little heavy approaching the merge. The other expressways and tollways have no delays right now. The southwest side, there's a crash involving a vehicle into a building on the 7100 block West Archer. The streets are open. There's not much in the way of heavy traffic. Traffic is also a service of Cabela's. It is spring, time to get catching and cooking. Don't miss Cabela's Spring Great Outdoor Days, their biggest sale of the season. Get 30% off all Cabela's rods and 25% off Cabela's cast iron starter set in Hoffman Estates or Hammond. And online at Cabela's.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our aircomfort.com weather center, morning rain or snow shower, then rain and snow showers. Pick up some steam later this afternoon as well. We'll top out at 42. More snow and clouds in the early part of the evening, and then we'll get clearing skies and colder as we approach daybreak on Saturday. A low of 24 and a high of 40 tomorrow. 35 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. With Dan and Amy and listeners in Mexico, Chicago's Morning Answer with Bruce Wolf and Deborah Rowe continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Companies that are serious about a successful event choose Tasty Catering. Planning begins at tastycatering.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Bruce Wolf and Deborah in for Dan and Amy. So yesterday, I love these optics things, these staged events. So Hillary wanted to show that she's an every woman, with 2 mortgages and $250,000 fees or whatever that she charges. The Wall Street types. So she tried to get on the subway in New York. Which is the greater number, Deb? The number of swipes that Hillary used with her Metro card on their version of the L, or the number of putts that Ernie Els, see the tie in there?
I got it.
Had on the first green at Augusta yesterday.
Well, I think Ernie beats her out.
He does.
I'm looking at the video. Yeah.
He had 6 putts.
Yeah.
She had 5 swipes. Interestingly, originally they said he 7-putted. And then I looked at a video of it, and all I could count were 6, and then I think they changed it from a 10 to a 9. 6 putts. I mean, he reminded me of this might gross you out just a little bit, the back and forth. When you have a bad cold and you're in bed at night and you lie on one side and one nostril drains into the other, and then you flip to the other side and you drain. So it's like, and he couldn't drain the putt, of course, eventually.
He reminded me
of yourself.
Of me.
Of course. At a miniature golf course where you're going back and forth.
At a regular golf course. That reminded me of me.
Well, in fairness to him, here's the thing. The greens at Augusta National, I mean, they're on such a tilt. So that could be a very difficult 2-foot putt that he was trying to make. So kudos to Ernie.
Difficult? Okay.
I mean, the good news was that actually, the bad news was that he 6-putted. The worst news was that he had to he has to play 35 holes after that. But he actually rallied a little bit. So I don't feel that sorry for Ernie. He's won 3 major tournaments. But anyway, as far as Hillary goes, so she swipes it 5 times, and apparently some other New Yorkers have a problem with that too. But she couldn't do it because she I mean, the woman hasn't driven herself in years. And then of course, she comes up with this phony baloney quote when she's actually on the subway.
I love it because it's so convenient. It is just the best way to get around.
I mean, does anybody believe that when she says that?
That
is nonsense.
That's
Totally.
about as believable as Jesse Jackson a few years ago. And he said whenever he's walking down the street, he's nervous. He's looking behind him to see, who's following him.
Oh, I
Is there a
believe that. By the way, that
Why
was
do
in
you believe that?
In 1993, he said that. He said that if he were walking down the street
No,
and he
did
saw
not
a black...
say if. No, he did not. He said when he walks down the street.
Okay, well, I mean, all right. When he walks down the street
Mhm.
and he sees a black guy walking in the opposite direction, he cringes a little bit.
And that was...
You don't believe that he
Jesse Jackson hasn't walked since.
Oh,
I
they
don't know.
hasn't
See,
walked.
it's the same thing. And I saw people like, oh, yeah, he's right. He hasn't
Where's the
walked.
camera? Where's the camera?
He gets chauffeured everywhere. And I was
By the way,
laughing.
speaking of Jesse Jackson, he must have died or something, because where is the Jesse Jackson-led boycott of the NFL draft that's coming up in Chicago in a couple of weeks of top-tier athletes? I mean, they'll still participate in the draft, but they don't have to be in the ceremony in Chicago. Aren't we protesting the fact that Rahm Emanuel is the mayor of Chicago and he denied black people the right to information via the Laquan McDonald video in order to vote?
You asked that question
Yeah.
several times this week.
Yeah, and I still haven't gotten an answer.
Okay, here's your answer.
Okay.
I don't know. But why is that a denial to black people? That's all Chicagoans. And that's the big problem with politics. It's the big problem with racial identity.
Right,
The
right.
Laquan McDonald video, that should have been something that we can say he denied every Chicagoan.
Yes, you're absolutely right about
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you for
Continue.
correcting me twice, right?
I have to
No,
do this.
but I'm. You don't understand.
No, I don't.
You don't know what it's like to be a black man in Chicago. I do. Having been the first black sportscaster in the Clintonian sense, the Toni Morrison sense in Chicago.
All right.
All right, should we? Yeah. All right. We got to handle Anna because.
Go ahead.
Well, it's because this is like a pharmacological substitute for her. Hello, Anna.
Good morning, Ann.
Good morning, Anna.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my
Of
call.
course, you're
And
welcome.
I'll miss both of you, but what is the pharmacological, what is that? Like a drug?
Yes, exactly. Anna.
Okay, what I want to call about right now is I can't see how he's picking a judge. Barack Obama is picking a judge. The death of Judge Scalia, Supreme Court judge, death, mysterious death, prevented Blagojevich from having a hearing in the United States Supreme Court about his case. And so...
Wait a minute. How do you know that, Anna?
Because they said that.
Seriously? There would have been a hearing. They would have reviewed his case had Scalia been alive?
Yes, he said that it was his only chance.
I don't know that necessarily is true, but I'll go with it. Go ahead.
Okay, but they said that, okay?
All right.
So he comes to Chicago knowing, and they said the FBI was going to investigate not only Hillary Clinton, but Barack Obama, Valerie Jarrett, and Rahm Emanuel in this case.
Oh, okay.
So they hushed it up for a while. But how could he come and cause Patty so much, 14 years, causing Patty and the family so much strife?
And Patty was so fetching in that dress that she wore to the sentencing hearing. Oh, my God.
Well, I don't know what Patty was, but I mean, I feel
Anna,
sorry.
Anna, thank you, and listen for your answer. Appreciate the call. She actually makes a point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some serious questions about what came down with Blagojevich and vis-a-vis Jesse Jackson. Why did Patrick Fitzgerald, the U.S. attorney, why did they abort the investigation right when they had Jesse in their sights? They could have gone the extra step, and they almost blew the case because there was the first trial didn't go their way. There's serious questions, and I have even more serious questions about Patrick Fitzgerald.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
For me, Blagojevich, and I wrote about it months ago. At Deborah's World, and you can read it for yourself, he just talked too much. And the time when he did at one point say he was going to write a book about what goes on in Springfield.
Right.
And I think it was like days later, he was taken all the way down. The point of it is the man just talked.
That was
and
his
he talked.
defense.
Yeah.
I used to do shows with Sam Adams Jr. He would sit in with me all the
Mhm.
time. And his defense was basically a de facto insanity defense.
I think so.
He was just saying, listen to Rod talk. He can't stop talking.
Have you ever heard his brother years
Rob,
ago? Rob actually said, I never really paid attention to him because he used to always say things like that. I think
He didn't take
there's
any
something-
money. He doesn't get anything. But
He didn't.
To close the loop on Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
and I've mentioned this before, there's serious questions as to whether he withheld exculpatory evidence in the Scooter Libby case. But nobody does anything about it. Nobody mentions it. It was brought up about 6 or 8 months ago. So I got some questions about Fitzgerald. Let's have Fitzgerald get him on the blower. I'm going to take his deposition for the rest of the show.
What was that, Gloria Tensing? Is that her name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking.
Yeah,
Victoria
Tensing.
Yeah.
She went down a litany of things about Pat Fitzgerald that
Right.
really would raise a lot of eyebrows.
Yeah, but where's the Carol Marine investigation on that? Yeah.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Now it's time for a look at the weather with Deb Rowe.
All right, today a morning rain or snow shower, then rain and snow showers, a high of 42. Tonight, a snow shower early, then clouds breaking, winds subsiding, colder, a low of 24. Tomorrow, breezy and cold with times of clouds and sun. And wow, there's just so much going on here environmentally. Snow and ice at night, a high of 40. Jim Talamonte, I'm guessing traffic is building, am I right?
It is, Deb. You're right. Happy Friday. Happy opening day for Sox fans. And I don't know about the weather, but right now things are pretty clear on the area roadways. No precipitation issues at the moment, but there is a crash on 53 southbound just before Euclid, and we're seeing a brief delay at stop and go from Northwest Highway to just before Euclid, where there is a left lane blocked with that collision. The inbound Ryan has heavy traffic from 95th to 83rd, and then from Cermak into the Burns Circle, it's 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound Fond at 15. Bishop 4, just a little sluggish approaching the Ryan, a little lighter than it normally would be at this hour. The Aidens and the Kennedy are still clear. Eisenhower inbound, getting a little congested past Mannheim. Inbound Stevenson, just a little congested past Pulaski. The tollways are good. Northwest Indiana, wide open. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
The hits come in bunch.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com. If medications haven't helped you treat your depression, why haven't you tried TMS therapy offered by Theramind? Now there is a way to successfully treat your depression without the need for meds and their harmful side effects. TMS therapy is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Don't continue to suffer needlessly. Call Theramind. Don't wait. Call Theramind now. 847-562-5868. The single greatest advancement to date in treating depression is TMS. It's an FDA-cleared, non-drug, safe, and effective treatment. TMS has already changed the lives of over 50,000 patients. Why not you? Visit tmsmind.com. Depression can be beaten, and without drugs. Call Theramind today, 847-562-5868, or get more info at tmsmind.com. That's Theramind at 847-562-5868, or online at tmsmind.com.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, You're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Bruce Wolf and Deb Rowe in for Dan and Amy. You can give us a call on the turnkey.pro answer line at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600, or send us a text on the turnkey.pro text line at 64636. Type in DA and then your comment. Got a text from 847. Recommend David Mamet, The Secret Knowledge, Chapter 24, Arrested Development on Higher Education. We talked about Liza Minnelli being on Arrested Development. And from 815, Hillary, unqualified, Bill, unpresidential. That's Steve on 88.
Okay. You know, speaking of Hillary, as she was struggling with the subway cart, lots of people are criticizing her about that, and that's fine by me, really. Remember when George Bush, 41?
I was thinking of that myself.
Okay. That was like the scanner and the price of milk and all of that kind of stuff.
Right, at a grocery store.
Right,
Yeah.
He was out of touch. I'm just wondering, how many people really believe because Hillary couldn't really work the subway card, or if Bush didn't know the price of milk because he's not shopping for milk every day, he's the president, does it really mean that they are not really qualified to be president?
Well, first of all, I believe the people who are qualified to be president should never have to do those kinds of
I actually agree with you.
proletarian things. I mean, yesterday when my daughter was in the front of the line and texted me and said, why is Barack Obama? She said, what's going on here? Because, the expressway's closed and it's wide open. I said, the president is coming through. You're going to see history. And even though I didn't vote for him, it's still history.
It's still
history. He can't wait there and go in traffic.
Right.
These people are better than you and I.
But
That's
I'm
all there is to
wondering,
it.
how much do these kinds of things weigh in the decision-making of people?
No.
Well, the media back during Bush's era, a lot of people feel that helped bring his numbers down.
Well, you know what? This goes back to, it's one of the propaganda devices called plain folks. The quintessential example of that, Deborah, is Adlai Stevenson, who was considered an intellectual in the 1950s.
And proverbial loser. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly. Well, they once had a picture of him with a hole in his shoe, and that showed that he was a man of the people. The joke about Adlai Stevenson, of course, was that he was not an intellectual at all. He wasn't, but he, to liberals who are easily seduced by idiocy, to liberals, Adlai Stevenson looked like an intellectual.
With the bald head and all
Oh, yeah, he was, and Eisenhower was a dummy. As Russell Kirk said of Eisenhower, he's not a communist, he's a golfer. So, but Stevenson, it turned out when he died, the only book in his bedroom or house or whatever was right next to his bedside. It was bedside, and it was the Social Register. All
really?
he cared, Adlai Stevenson didn't know squat because, it's just ridiculous. People are wowed by somebody who can, quote the Cliff's Notes to somebody. I should know because that's all I do.
Then we find out that his cousin McLean actually scored higher on tests than he did.
Adlai Stevenson?
I don't know.
Are you? Well,
they were cousins.
Who are you talking about?
McLean Stevenson.
Really?
I think so.
You may be right about that.
I'm thinking I am right.
Well, how about Robert Louis Stevenson?
No, I don't think so.
You know who scored higher on the SAT than Al Gore did?
George Bush. I know this.
Who do you think you are? A Kennedy? You're a Bush. Act like one.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Life's full of unknowns, some unpleasant, like an unexpected accident or work injury that can happen to any of us. When the unexpected happens, you need an experienced and capable law firm that excels in personal injury and workers' compensation and can garner you an excellent settlement. With a combined 75 years experience, Feed the Children business benefactor Stordo, Finn, and Rosinski share your values and take pride in their friendly, professional approach. Personal injury and workers' compensation matters can take a toll on you. That's why Stordo, Finn, and Rosinski strive to treat clients like family and provide a quick response to your questions. You'll always speak with an attorney. Call Stordo, Finn, and Rosinski, the People's Lawyer, for your free initial consultation at 630-860-5520 or visit peopleslawyer.info. That's 630-860-5520 or online at peopleslawyer.info.
Do you have to worry about identity theft during tax season? Yes. The IRS has reported over $6 billion in fraudulent refunds in a single tax year due to identity theft. Does it matter if you're not getting a refund? No. Thieves can use the information from your tax documents to steal your identity anytime. Can getting a neck massage make worrying about identity theft less stressful? Yeah. Who doesn't like a neck massage? But it won't help like LifeLock can. When you're a LifeLock member, you have access to our team of U.S.-based specialists who know the steps to take to work to resolve identity theft issues during tax season and every other time of year. With LifeLock, identity theft can be less of a pain in the neck. Get LifeLock for peace of mind year-round. Memberships start at $9.99 a month plus applicable taxes, and now you can get 10% off. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code NEWS. LifeLock.
Hey, let me introduce you to my really good friends at Guardian Security Services. Talk about passion. Man, these guys get it. They provide on-site security officers to a wide variety of businesses in Chicagoland. Gated communities, colleges, financial institutions, you name it. Guardian Security Officers are on-site forming lasting relationships. They're so passionate about exceptional service, their client retention ratio is over 95%, and they just celebrated 41 years in Chicago. They thoroughly screen every applicant, typically only accepting 5 out of 100 officers. They hire the best, so you have the best. Easy to reach and backed by a 24-hour service center and exceptional training. If you're unhappy with your on-site security or door staff or anticipate a need in the future, man, contact Guardian Security Services. Tell them Joe Walsh sent you. Call right now, 708-385-3300. That's 708-385-3300.
If you're at or nearing retirement, you know the low interest rate environment has changed the rules of retirement. Huge threats also loom that could drastically affect your wealth. You need to guard against the IRS, attorneys, and nursing homes becoming your biggest beneficiaries. The good news is there are strategies to help protect your investment gains in these uncertain economic times. Discover how to do this and much more by attending Retire with Confidence from the Alpha Wealth Group. Tom Fortino, Fox Business contributor and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturdays on AM 560, is hosting this free educational workshop, Retire with Confidence, on Saturday, April 9th in Oak Brook Terrace. To reserve your seat for Retire with Confidence, call the Alpha Wealth Group today at 630-519-4742. Space is limited. This could be the best 60 minutes you invest in your financial future. That's 630-519-4742. 630-519-4742. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Can Cruz keep Trump under 50% in New York? We'll talk about that after the news, and now here's Mike Scott.
Bruce and Deborah, here are the stories we're watching right now. A firefighter recovering after a blaze broke out early this morning at U.S. Cellular Field. The president makes his case for his Supreme Court nominee, and Illinois Republicans pushing a plan for social services funding in Springfield. Clubs clobber the D-backs, and the White Sox take 3 of 4 from the A's. WIND Chicago News Time, 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Bill Clinton fired up.
Whoa. No, wait.
Campaigning for Hillary in Philadelphia, interrupted by Black Lives Matter's protesters.
Here's the thing. I like protesters, but the ones that won't let you answer are afraid of the truth.
They're upset over a crime bill he signed as president. They claim put a lot of black men in prison. He says those criminals killed lives protesters say matter. A new poll shows a lot of Americans don't like Hillary Clinton. Even fewer like the Republican frontrunners. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has this live.
The Associated Press GFK poll found the negative view many take of Donald Trump runs across race, gender, political persuasion, and location. 7 in 10 people have an unfavorable view of Trump, including close to half of Republican voters surveyed. And it's not that they love his rivals. Negatives for Ted Cruz are at 59%, Hillary Clinton 55%. More than 60% said they definitely wouldn't vote for Trump in the general election. Those still with him say they're both Republican and support the Tea Party, Dave.
Tanya, Secretary of State John Kerry's in Iraq, making an unannounced visit to meet with Iraqi leaders amid the fight against ISIS. Pope Francis has put out a document called The Joy of Love, saying the church must no longer sit in judgment, throwing stones against those who don't live up to the Catholic ideals of marriage and family life.
Pope Francis wants the doors to stay open. No one's excommunicated just because they've been married a second time. Everyone's welcome.
Vatican spokesman Greg Burke. The manhunt is still on for an escaped mental patient in Washington state. Anthony Garver was deemed unfit to go on trial for torturing and murdering a woman in 2013. A former sailor who's spent 33 years in prison for rape and murder will be set free today in Virginia.
It is clear that Keith Harward is innocent of the crimes for which he has been convicted.
Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring says DNA evidence exonerated Harward. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 35 degrees. It is 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A firefighter is recovering after a blaze broke out at U.S. Cellular Field. Fire began early this morning in a first-floor kitchen near an office inside the stadium. Firefighter was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. And, of course, the Sox home opener is scheduled for this afternoon, along with a healthy dose of snow showers. Man is dead after he was struck by a CTA Blue Line train on the northwest side. The victim killed last night near the Jefferson Park station. The president makes a play for support, getting a big push for his Supreme Court pick.
Merrick Garland is an extraordinary jurist who is indisputably qualified to serve on the highest court of the land. And nobody really argues otherwise.
At the University of Chicago Law School yesterday, the president said Garland's qualifications are indisputable. A now former state trooper is out of a job because he was quizzing people about religion after stopping them for traffic violations. The Indiana State Police dismissed senior trooper Brian Hamilton Thursday after he was accused a second time of witnessing to drivers he stopped. Karen Lewis remains president of the Chicago Teachers Union without launching a campaign. Officials say an election would have cost the union $300,000. Lewis won a 3-year term after union delegates voted this week to cancel that election because no one stepped forward to challenge Lewis. Republicans in the Illinois General Assembly are proposing a $1.3 billion spending plan to cover human services. Christine Radonio, the minority leader of the Illinois Senate, says she and House leaders say most of the money would come from state funds set up for special purposes. Radonio says her spending plan depends on passage of other legislation to reduce public pension costs. Chicago sports, NBA last night. The Fading Bulls likely out of the playoffs after a loss to Miami, 106-98. Matt Lato's one hit over 6 innings of work. In the White Sox, a win over Oakland 6-1. Anthony Rizzo with 6 RBI. Cubs over Arizona 14-6. Your Masters leader is Jordan Spieth. The news service of CiCi's Pizza. Ready for an adventure in flavor? CiCi's brings their 3 new flatbread pizzas to the unlimited buffet. Try the new Spinach Alfredo Chicken Bacon Club and Honey Barbecue Chicken. More flavors to explore for the same great value. Just $5 and change only at CiCi's. Better believe it. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity warns of a third-party challenge.
The Washington Post today is claiming that a group of, quote, conservative leaders got together this morning to plot a third-party challenge if Donald Trump gets the nomination. I would argue, and I'm saying this respectfully, this is a death wish. This is a plan to help elect Hillary. This is a circular firing squad.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to come in and speak with someone?
Negative, Control. With Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, you can go through the entire mortgage process on your own and completely online.
Copy that, QL1, but if I wanted to speak to someone, do you think they're out there?
They're out there, all right. Their award-winning client service is beyond anything I've ever experienced.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
People all across the country are enjoying the flexibility of working when they want, earning extra money on their schedule when they drive with Uber.
The first time I turned the app on was because I was going to visit my sister and thought I should probably make some extra cash so that I'll have spending money. And then I had $400. This is the best decision I made. It's a no-brainer, really.
Enjoy the flexibility of working when you want, earning extra money on your schedule. Sign up to Drive with Uber today. Go to drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
6:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. They have tater tot helmets at Comiskey Field, Jim. Tater tot instead of nachos. Our friends at ABC 7, thank you very much for the live video this morning of the tater tot helmet. Are you kidding me?
A year's supply of sodium there.
Yes, it is. Go ahead, Jim.
All right, Mike, thanks.
I've got stuff to eat.
There you go. Happy opening day. The White Sox and the Indians start at 3:10. So you'll have plenty of traffic around the ballpark in the early afternoon hours and then affecting the afternoon rush, probably the late afternoon rush, depending on the length of the game. And right now, the inbound line is kind of at its usual place, about 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. It's slow 95th to 83rd, and then from 35th on into the loop. We only have slight delays on the inbound Eisenhower and Stevenson right now. We do have significant delays on 53 southbound. It's stop and go from Palatine Road to before Euclid. The left and right shoulders are now blocked after a car hit the wall there. Traffic is a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Stores, buy a Napa 5-gallon bucket for $3.99 and get 20% off any items you can fit in it. Plus, they'll donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund for every bucket sold. That's Napa know-how. Minimum 3 items, some exclusions apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A windier day with gusts up to 40 miles per hour. A rain or snow shower spot for the morning, then rain and snow showers in the afternoon. Little or no accumulation, high today 42. An evening snow shower, then clouds breaking tonight, winds gradually subsiding, low of 24. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Opening day temps. 35 at O'Hare, 38 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MyPainChicago.com. World-class treatment for chronic pain. Go to MyPainChicago.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Our friends in the media tell us that Donald Trump is unstoppable in New York State.
It might seem like a fairy tale for Hillary Clinton to be riding the subway.
I love it because it's so convenient. It is just the best way to get around.
Maybe the American people might wonder about your qualifications, Madam Secretary, when you voted for the war in Iraq.
You are defending the people who killed the lives you say matter. Tell the truth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Ding, 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 ding. Bruce Wolf and Deb Rowe in for Dan and Amy. You can call us on the Turnkey.pro answer line at 312-642-5600. That's 312-642-5600. Or send us a text on the Turnkey.pro text line at 64636, 64636. Type in DA and then your comment. So, Deb, this just in, the Pope has come up with, it wouldn't be called an encyclical, or it's called The Joy of Love, and there's not pictures in it that you have to color in like The Joy of Sex from years ago. It's called The Joy of Love, and I wish we had Father Guido Sarducci of Salvatore Romano, or whatever. Do you remember Father Guido Sarducci's
Yes, I do.
5-minute university?
Yes.
You remember the 5-minute
I
university?
remember a little bit about
It was hysterical. It was
Yes.
go to college in 5 minutes, and he would do it in front of a group of students, and then they'd have spring break. They'd have a glass of orange juice. So that was it was great. We need him to discern what the Pope has said, because it's, again, one of those things where the liberals are going to leap all over it and say, see, we're now going to have gay marriages in the Catholic Church and study war no more. But basically what he said was that by thinking that everything is black and white, we sometimes close off the way of grace and growth. And he said that priests around the world should be more accepting of gay men and lesbians, divorced Catholics, and other people living in what the church considers, quote, irregular, unquote, situations. Mm-hmm. But he did not say that we're going to have gay marriage in the church at this point. And I'd like to ask the Pope.
No, that'll be next year.
Pontiff, I have a question. You have stated, because if Dan were here right now,
Mm-hmm.
he would say, see, nobody is looking at all 12,000 words of what the quote's saying. They're cherry picking what the Pope said here.
Mm-hmm.
The Pope has said that homosexuality is an anthropological regression. An anthropological regression. Now, Pontiff, do you believe that? Do you still believe that, or have you changed it?
The Pope has also said, when it comes to homosexuality, who am I to judge?
What do you mean, who am I to judge?
That's what he said. That's a direct quote.
He judges the action. The action is wrong, but he will not judge the homosexual. That's for God to do.
You are right. But the issue was about, is homosexuality right, wrong? He says, who am I to judge? When he was asked about homosexuality, go to CNN, read the section under a groundbreaking new document. This is, after all, the Pope who said, who am I to judge when asked about homosexuality?
No, I understand matters of theology.
I'm sure
okay.
you do.
And you just said I was correct. So we're
I'm
not
saying
arguing
you're
about anything.
correct. I agree with you, but I don't think that's what he was saying.
That's what he is saying.
I don't think so.
The homosexual act is wrong, according to the Catholic Church. I'm not saying it's wrong, because I watch Modern Family. What I'm saying is, all right, here's the thing. Let's not dwell on that first. The problem is the Pope is behind the times as far as the United States goes. It's not the gay community that's under attack. It's the hetero community that's under attack. Here, let me explain.
Yeah, go
There's a law that Mississippi passed. It's supposedly an anti-gay law.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the Mississippi law doesn't ban gays from restaurants, as some people have characterized? As a matter of fact, under the Mississippi law, a cake maker, okay, your baker, would still have to bake a cake for a gay wedding, would have to bake a cake, but would not be required to put an inscription or whatever on the top of the cake, which he or she does not believe in, because that would be an infringement on that person's First Amendment rights. You're not forced to say something that you don't want to say. And by the way, this goes back to 1943, when Jehovah's Witnesses didn't want to have to recite the Pledge of Allegiance because certain portions of it were anathema to their faith. And so all of a sudden, religious liberty for everyone is under attack here.
I'm going to squeeze in here. I'm going to try to.
Go ahead.
A couple of things. One,
Okay.
you said they wouldn't have to say anything, because I know when I'm seeing the clock.
Yeah.
Do they have to put the two men on top of the cake? I don't know. Here, the Pope
that's a
isn't
good question.
behind the times. See, this is what we have to do, I think, a little bit more. It only appears as if he's saying, don't discriminate against gays. That's not what this is not what's happening here. What's actually happening is that it's a whittling down of the value systems that have been established by first God and then the church. This is where we're going with this.
I agree.
That's all it is. So it's not about him being behind the times. It's pushing the
No, I say he's
church.
behind the times because everybody was always fighting the last war, like we fought Vietnam, like it was World War II. Hey, Mr. Pope, our Pope, the High Sparrow, Anthony Kennedy, has consecrated gay marriage. Gay marriage is the law of the land. It's a fundamental right. So it's religious liberty that's under attack in the United States, not gay marriage. Let's go to Tom very quickly from Schaumburg. Tom?
Hey, Tom.
Good morning. Yeah, I think the Pope missed his opportunity to push back against the Supreme Court ruling by not coming out right away saying the Catholic Church will no longer do any marriages. Because if he comes out now and says, well, we're not going to do gay marriages, good luck with that, because, that's a hate crime.
Tom, thanks so much for your call. Very quickly, Lynn, you want to love me? Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
Well, hi there. How are you?
Good.
Good. I don't have anything to say except I adore you. Deb is wonderful. And when are you going to be back on Fox?
Well, first of all, Lynn, the Pope has just decided that you and I can get married, even though I've been married to my beloved Karen for so many years. So thank you, Lynn, very, very much. No, I will never return to the airwaves. Today is my last day, and then I'm going to go practice personal injury law. We will have more with Dan and Amy from Cabo coming up.
Sure, and I'm the Pope.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Now it's time for Sister Betrill. The flying weather
I love
girl.
that. I love
Sister
that.
Betrill,
Yes, yes.
we like you. Give us the weather.
You really like me. All right, today, rain or snow showers, a high of 42. And then tonight, a snow shower early, clouds breaking, winds subsiding, colder, and a low of 24. For tomorrow, breezy and cold with times of clouds and sun. Snow and ice at night, a high of 40. Mr. Jim Talamonte, what's happening on the roads?
Good morning, Deb. Good morning, Bruce. Happy Friday. 53 southbound. Traffic is stop and go from Palatine Road to before Euclid, where a crash now has both the left and right shoulders blocked. Northbound 53 looks fine. Southbound Lakeshore Drive. We're seeing delays from Foster to Lawrence. There's a reported crash in that area. Don't know yet which lane is blocked at Lawrence. The northbound side of the outer drive is good. Eden's still good as well. No delays to report yet. Getting a little heavy approaching the junction on the inbound side. Kennedy, still fine. 20 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Inbound Eisenhower. Got a 5-minute delay now from Manheim to Harlem. Inbound Stevenson, about a 3-minute delay. Cicero to Keds. Either line is slow. 95th to 83rd, then from 35th on in. 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tollways, all good. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
All right, over a half-century ago, a respected firearms store opened. It started as a hobby to Mike Schrank and has now served generations of customers. Schrank Smoke and Gun retains a family atmosphere and now carry the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms in Lake County. From pistols, rifles, and shotguns, that would be shotguns, to hard-to-find calibers, collectibles, and older functioning hunting rifles. You'll also find full gunsmith services from simple detail cleaning to complete rebuilds. Whether you're thinking about your first firearm or a FOID card or looking to add to your collection, visit Schrank's Smoke and Gun. If you have a firearm to sell, their sale was so successful they need your firearms. And if you love cigars, you'll find your favorites in Schrank's humidors, along with a broad selection of pipes and tobacco. Visit Smoke, the letter N, Gun. Help me out here,
It's
Bruce.
Smoke and Gun.
There we go.
Yeah.
Smoke and Gun.
Because they go together like love and marriage.
There you go. Or you can call 847-662-4034. Schrank's Smoke and Guns in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964. That's 847-662-4034.
Boom. Running a business is tough these days. From a president who claimed it
You didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
to the mountains and mountains of taxes and regulations here in Illinois. But many companies, big and small, have persevered, serving their customers and communities. If that's you and your business, then AM 560 The Answer wants to celebrate your success and tell your story. It's the AM 560 Business Tour 2016, presented by Signature Bank. This spring, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses in Illinois with success stories of overcoming the odds and thriving in spite of the challenging business environment. If your company fits this description, then we want to know about it so we can consider broadcasting from your location. Tell us your story. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business. Sponsored in part by Flex Execs Management Solutions.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. So you get yourself one of those blood tests with all the poking and prodding. They're always looking for some kind of bad news. Most blood tests these days are very lacking, only screening you for the big, bad, and ugly diseases, and with you never really getting the good news, or even knowing what to do with the not-so-good news. So let me tell you about our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. First of all, we'll be testing a wide variety of different health factors and not just the ugly few. And then we're going to sit down with you and strategize with all that we learned from your blood test findings. And I promise that you're going to know more about what you can do to help improve your health using a more natural, common-sense approach. And for over 33 years, we've been very successful at setting people free from their toxic medications. It's our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. That's 800-794-1855. Be sure to tune in to Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good day. It's Dan and Amy. We're live from Secrets Resort in Puerto Los Cabos. This trip is being sponsored by
Artistic Dentistry and Dermatology and Plastic Surgery and Associates.
Yeah, very good.
And also thanks to our good friends at Apple Vacations.
Yeah,
for
it's been great
organizing this.
Now we've got a couple of guests that flew in from Colorado.
Yes,
that are
woo!
AM 560 listeners from Colorado, Chicago transplants, like so many that fled for the Rocky Mountain High, literally. No.
Jonathan
literally.
and Jennifer.
We live there, but we live there cannabis-free. We really do.
Yeah. All of your friends, everyone's smoking pot now?
So at the pool before, we were talking about mommy marijuana, and they smoke in the afternoons. And these are just all the people that I know, all my friends. So it makes them a better mom. And so, but except for that, I do not do it. So I haven't jumped on that bandwagon yet. I'm sorry to say.
A little foreshadowing for what's coming to Illinois, which is nice.
I think so.
So what have you guys most liked, Jonathan and Jennifer, most liked about the trip so far? What was the thing that you most liked, other than
eating
talking
and drinking
to us?
Incessantly, constantly. So now we did not do the volleyball that you guys did yesterday. So we don't have any terrible stories to be embarrassed of today. But at the same time, I truly do not remember. As the days go on, I remember less and less about what I did during the course of the day.
Because you're on vacation. You're taking a mental break.
I guess so. I'm just saying I should have more recall.
I think
I have
actually,
no recall.
I think this is an alternate dimension where time and space don't kind of operate the way they do in the States.
Yeah.
That's kind of my read on it. Now, this week is the Masters. And Jonathan has one of the most amazing and ridiculous golf stories you're ever going to hear. We've got a lot of listeners who are golfers. We've got a couple of hosts who are golfers. You served our country honorably in the military, and you did so in Augusta, Georgia, which is the home of a little 18-hole course called Augusta National, where they play a little tournament called the Masters. And you were given a choice about a certain post designation versus playing Augusta. Why don't you tell us that story?
Or 30 days additional leave. So basically, I graduated valedictorian from my AIT, and one of the choices was, since you did, you either get to choose your first duty station, you get 30 days leave, or you get to go play golf. So I chose my duty station, and I was told, no, that's not possible until I get to go play golf first. So my drill sergeant basically said, we're going to go play golf, and I'm going to invite the people to go. So I went. They don't rent gloves.
And he did this because you were choosing your duty station over playing Augusta.
It's golf, yes.
Right, and he was outraged.
He was.
And he wanted to piggyback on your golf opportunity by joining your force.
Exactly. That is true. I just didn't know it was that big of a deal. I mean, it's golf.
And that was your first time ever playing golf?
Yes, I've never played golf. And they don't rent clubs at Augusta, so I borrowed clubs from...
Yes, this just in, for all of you who want to play Augusta, they do not rent clubs there, in case you're going to play Augusta. Thank you, John.
I'm just here to help. Yeah.
So they didn't rent clubs there, so how did you get golf clubs to play your first round of golf ever. At Augusta National?
I borrowed them from On Post. Left-handed clubs, even though it turns out I'm right-handed.
Did you bring a putter up to the tee box, not knowing that?
I have no idea what you mean.
So let me just finish that. So your first round of golf ever, which was going to be at Augusta, the home of the Masters, you're a right-hander playing with left-handed clubs. Because at the Post, they couldn't scrounge up and nobody knew anybody with a right-handed set of golf clubs?
No, because you're in the Army and you make $328 a month.
Wow. Do you have family that could ship you a right-handed set of golf clubs?
No. And it was pretty quick, like, hey, by the way, we're going next Monday, so be ready type thing.
So how did you do?
Well, I hit the ball like 10 times, and then I quit. And they kept playing, and they sent me back over to like this big building in the middle, and I just sat there. And
That's called the clubhouse, Jonathan. That's a term we use in golf. It's called the clubhouse, that big building in the middle of one of the great golf courses in the world.
Am I offending you in any way?
This is like everyone who's ever played golf, and very few have ever played Augusta, of course, are listening to this like I am listening to this in stunned disbelief.
I'm glad I could share this moment with
you. So wait, that's not. So you went to the big building in the middle of the course, and then what happened?
Well, then I just basically ate BLTs and drank iced tea for a couple hours.
Did they let you try in a green jacket? Does that mean anything to you? Does not mean anything to Jonathan. He's giving me a quizzical look. So you played your only time of golf ever, your first time and only time, was at Augusta, where you played with left-handed clubs, even though you're right-handed. You hit the ball 10 times. You didn't like the game, so you quit. And then one of the guys that basically piggybacked on you to get on the course gave you a credit card and said, go have a sandwich at the building in the middle of the course, and we'll meet you in 4 hours.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Well, you're still a great American because you served our
Yes,
country.
thank you so much for your service.
But you're slightly less of a great American because of this Augusta story.
Stop it.
Just remember, I played Augusta, you didn't.
Oh, yes.
That's right, exactly.
Oh, we'll end it
well
there.
Done, well done.
And if you want to see any of our golf round, go to 560theanswer.com/escape or find us on Facebook or on Twitter at Morning Answer. Thanks, Jonathan and Jennifer.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention market watchers. Until recently, the market hadn't seen back-to-back days of 500-point losses since November of 2008. What if you had no market exposure? What if you didn't have to worry about the markets? How would you sleep? Leave the volatility behind. Hi, this is Jack Taboda. Our proprietary income strategies provide reliable, inflation-protected income, guaranteed for life, with no market exposure. Call me at 630-777-7955. That's 630-777-7955. You've worked hard to build your wealth. I work hard to protect it. 630-777-7955.
Insurance products may be presented and guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the insurance company represented. Securities offered through ProEquities Inc., a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Harvest Investment Services LLC, a registered investment advisor. Taboda and Associates and Harvest Investment Services LLC are independent of ProEquities Inc.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com has pulled the trigger to bring you classes for Illinois gun owners. Take advantage of a new Illinois concealed carry class from Safer USA. Dave Lombardo, class instructor, is offering his concealed carry 16-hour seminar for only $150. Now, this seminar is normally $300. It covers everything you need to know to protect you and your family with a concealed carry firearm for personal protection or against a home invasion. Dave is a pro and also the host of the show on Target Radio. Hey, get in a little range time as well with a 1-year range membership from the Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Winthrop Harbor. This is a premier gun range in Northeast Illinois, and a 1-year membership, only $149. That's a $350 value. Now, your range membership includes great discounts on products and services at the Outdoorsman Sports Shop. So find out all the deals only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com, featuring great deals on many other lifestyle training classes. Get it all at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, what TV show is this? Oh, yeah, right. This is, The Office. Exactly. Yeah, I watched several episodes of it. We're going to talk about another television show, Sesame Street. Can you tell me how to shut down Sesame Street? That's coming up after the news.
Just don't watch.
I hated that show from the very beginning.
See, I was a Captain Kangaroo guy.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Now it's time for a man after my own heart, the anachronistic Mike Scott. Thank you.
Cloudy 35 degrees. Officials are putting on hold the extradition of Paris attack suspect Salah Abdeslam, who's been held in a Belgian prison since his arrest March 18. France's justice minister says that delay is because of an investigation in Belgium concerning a deadly police raid in a neighborhood the day before Abdeslam's arrest. Authorities have been using dogs, a SWAT team, and helicopters. They're looking for an accused killer who escaped Wednesday night from a psychiatric hospital south of Seattle in Tacoma, Washington. 28-year-old Anthony Garver escaped that facility with another man who was captured yesterday. It's been 20 years since Bill Clinton ran for public office, but apparently the former president's fighting instincts and elbows are still sharp.
I don't know how you would characterize the gang leaders who got 13-year-old kids hopped up on crack and sent them out onto the street to murder other African-American children.
Clinton appearing at his wife's White House campaign yesterday in Philadelphia at an event where Black Lives Matter protesters said Clinton's mandatory minimum sentences in his 1994 Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act were racially motivated. Republican presidential hopeful Ted Cruz standing by his New York values comments about Donald Trump.
You know, I think people across New York and across the country knew exactly what New York values means, and those are the values of liberal Democratic politicians who have been hammering this state.
Texas senator went after Trump for supporting those liberal candidates. Pope Francis appears to be offering some hope for Catholics who divorce and remarry. The document entitled The Joy of Love, issued this morning, seems to leave an open question over whether divorced and remarried Catholics can receive communion. A firefighter is recovering after a blaze broke out at U.S. Cellular Field. Officials say the fire began early this morning in a first-floor kitchen near an office near the stadium. Inside the stadium, a firefighter was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injury. A man is dead after being struck by a CTA Blue Line train on the northwest side. Service for a portion of the Blue Line was suspended for a time. Karen Lewis remains the president of the Chicago Teachers Union without launching a campaign. Union delegates voting this week to cancel an election because no one has stepped forward to challenge Lewis. Chicago sports, NBA, Miami dusted the Bulls 106-98, effectively ending their chances of making the playoffs. White Sox over Oakland 6-1. Cubs beat Arizona 14-6 in the NHL last night. The Hawks lose home ice in the playoffs after a 2-1 decision in overtime, won by St. Louis. The news service of CiCi's Pizza. CiCi's brings 3 new flatbread pizzas to the Unlimited Buffet. Try the new Spinach Alfredo, Chicken Bacon Club, and Honey Barbecue. More flavor to explore for the same great value. 5 and change, only at CiCi's. Better believe it. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager doesn't get Trump supporters.
It is clear to me from emails that many Trump supporters feel this way, and what they're in effect saying, they regard the Republican Party as either as big a problem for the country as the Democratic Party or as an even bigger problem. I 100% disagree.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Antiques, vintage collectibles, and more. The Antique Market is this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds, Grays Lake. Saturday 9 to 4, Sunday 9 to 3. ZircoPromotions.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you wanted to do an FHA Streamline refinance to lower your interest rate and payment, you called me and I helped you. When you wanted to refinance your 11% loan, you called me and I helped you. When you wanted to use your retirement assets to do an asset depletion loan, you called me and I helped you. If you'd like to talk to me about a mortgage, please call me at 312-751-1333. 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
6:35 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We start with some good news on 53. A southbound crash near Euclid is gone. Everything has reopened. No delays to report now on 53. The inbound Edens is a little heavy from Peterson to the junction. 21 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 28 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. The Eisenhower, stop and go Manheim to Harlem. 38 minutes Thorndale to downtown, outbound 31. Stevenson, 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35, a little heavy at Cicero. The Ryan, 23 minutes from 95th to downtown. I-57 just a little heavy approaching the merge. Bishop Ford, about a 2-minute delay starting at 103rd. Lakeshore Drive southbound, heavy approaching Montrose with a crash blocking the left lane. Traffic is a service of Jackson Hewitt. File with Jackson Hewitt for 100% accuracy, maximum refund guaranteed, and a $50 Walmart e-gift card. Jackson Hewitt, where taxes are less taxing. Minimum tax prep fee required, valid in participating locations. Terms and conditions apply. See jacksonhewitt.com for details. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Morning rain or snow shower. Then we have a calm midday, then more rain and snow for the afternoon. High 42. Snow showers early, then clouds will break and we'll get very cold overnight. Low 24. 34 right now at O'Hare. Next news at 7. And with Dan and Amy and listeners still in Mexico, Chicago's Morning Answer continues next with Bruce Wolf and Deborah Rowe on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Ruthie Wolf and Deborah Rowe. This portion of the show is not brought to you by Salerno Butter Cookies. You can give us a call on the turnkey.pro answer line at 312-642-5600. That's 312-642-5600. Or send us a text on the turnkey.pro text line at 64636. That's 64636. Type in DA and then your comment. And we got one from Ann B. Davis's Bowling Ball. Bruce, I enjoy when you put the absurdities of liberalism on trial each morning. That's what Ann B. Davis's Bowling Ball says. But, Deborah, always like to hear a countervailing view from Shirley Booth's Mahjong tile.
Ann B. Davis, that's Alice, right?
Yeah, she also played Schultze on the Bob Cummings show.
The old Bob Cummings.
Oh yeah,
show.
I mean that's a deep cut right
that's
there.
Very deep.
So speaking of old television shows, Sesame Street.
Yes.
Which now only the elite can get because you have to subscribe to HBO. Yeah, it's no longer available to everybody. By the way, I thought I was watching the Masters yesterday, and Ernie Els 6-putted. The count should have said, that's one putt, 2 blown putts. He is a putz. He could have done that. And by
nice fit.
And by the way, all you people out there, especially in the, as we call the community, I am not the son of Svengoolie, okay? A lot of people confuse me with
You know,
Son of Son Gould.
Sesame Street. So it's
Can I
not
tell-
on.
can-
Is it still on PBS or no?
No, it's on HBO.
Oh, that's a shame.
Now, here's the thing. They've come up with Afghanistan's first Muppet. Sesame Street producers create a female character called Zari, 6 years old, to empower young girls, but warn that she may face cultural resistance. I remember when Sesame Street was created, like in 1970, and I was immediately repulsed by it. Now, my kids watched it. My kids watched it endlessly. You know, and it's supposed to be, entertaining for the adults, too. It works on 2 levels. Let me tell you, it works on 1 level, and that's for kids, and I couldn't stand it. But the thing is that what really bothered me, remember the controversy over Barney?
Mm-hmm.
Barney came on, the purple dinosaur.
Yeah.
I love you, you love, and people like Ted Kennedy. I will cross that bridge when we come to it. People like Ted Kennedy, and all the cool liberals were ridiculing Barney because it wasn't like Sesame Street. Well, you know what? You know who liked Barney?
Who?
Its intended audience, 5-year-olds. But, Ted Kennedy and those people of that ilk, couldn't stand it that it wasn't a politically correct show like Sesame Street.
I absolutely adored Barney.
Of course you would.
There was one episode, he wore spats.
Well, I
He
didn't
had on
watch
the
it.
tuxedo. I watched it, and he was scatting. He was singing
Oh,
like
really?
jazz. I thought he was like the best.
No, I mean, it was intended for 5-year-olds and apparently appealed to the 5-year-old in you. That's good.
Well, I had small children at the time.
All right, I understand.
But here's the thing about Sesame Street. A dear friend of mine who is from Colombia, and when she arrived here, she was educated, but she couldn't speak English. You know how she learned to speak English?
Today on Sesame Street is brought to you by the letter E for English.
Sesame Street helped to teach her the English
All right,
language.
all right, I guess
but
that's okay.
this character you speak of,
Yeah, they say that she is gonna she'll have a suicide belt on. And
You were gonna
that's
say
one
that.
stick
She
of
won't
dynamite.
be allowed to carry a backpack.
2 sticks of dynamite.
But she
All right,
will be.
you worked that joke, Bruce.
She'll be in Afghanistan. This is for the Afghanistan version of Sesame Street, and it's
Oh,
really
it's not gonna
needed.
be here?
No, it's not here. It's there.
They don't get HBO in Afghanistan.
It's on. Well,
They don't even have running water. Shouldn't they start out first, like with the 3 major networks? They'll show you reruns of the Patty Duke show or something. You don't jump right into Sesame Street on HBO.
The real.
What is this? I don't understand. Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't understand this.
The key
What is this man? He's
for you to
ridiculing
know-
everybody. He's like he got Tourette's.
The
Go
key
ahead.
for you to know that it was not for the American audience is that they are seeking the approval of the Ministry of Education. We don't have
wonderful.
a Ministry of Education, but they say, what is her name going to be? Zari. That Zari will she will teach girls and show girls that it's okay to be educated. So this is a very high risk proposition. Because in Afghanistan, women used to be educated before the Taliban took over.
I'm surprised women are allowed to watch TV in Afghanistan. Well, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
I think her character is going to last as long as the war has lasted in Afghanistan. Let's go to Mike on the north side of Chicago. Good morning,
Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. Great show all week.
Thank you.
You two should be on more often. I think Sesame
Burn
Street was
your
a
lips to the Children's Television Workshop's ears. I'm sorry I couldn't even spit that out. I'm talking over you. Maybe you want to reconsider your thought. Go ahead, Mike.
I think Sesame Street was a socialist plot to indoctrinate our children. Look at it.
No, let him go.
Bert and Ernie cohabitating.
Sure.
Nobody ever worked. They were given everything. Mr. Hooper was an enabler, just giving it out without money.
Sure.
And Oscar the Grouch living in a garbage can glorified homelessness.
And then they got rid of the Cookie Monster. Didn't
That's
they have
pretty
like a
good,
thing
Mike.
because the Cookie Monster was too giving you a sugar rush? And you know who Bert and Ernie were named after, don't you? You know who Bert and Ernie were named after? Bert the cop and Ernie from It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I have a grandson, 2 grandsons who are identical twins.
Mhm.
I actually have 5 grandsons and a granddaughter. But these 2, I read this book about going into the potty that Bert and Ernie are talking about.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'll be doing that later.
Let's say good morning to Randy.
No, I decide who we're...
See, this is people. I want you to know what happens when we're off the air. Please, 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 Bruce.
Hi, Randy from Crown
Good morning.
Point. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. It's nice to have you on. I'm happy that you're joking and laughing. That's what it's all about.
Thank you.
Hey, You know why Sesame Street is what it is? The creator, the nut job Jim Henson, was from the liberal Northeast, from Hartford, Connecticut.
Well, he paid the price, didn't he? He's dead.
He's dead, but he left a lot of mess in the tracks. It is the.
Wait a minute, Randy. It isn't easy being
a liberal.
Yeah.
It was.
I was
going
to make a Miss Piggy joke, but I don't think you can make that. You know, the Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy. Everybody knows the Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy joke, don't they?
No.
Yeah, I'll tell you off the air.
All right.
Yeah, on the online version of the show. It's Dirty Sesame Street. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate the call. Yeah, he's right about that.
You know, when I initially saw
Jim
this
Henson
article
dead.
that there would be a character from Afghanistan, I thought they meant a real live person, a cast member, to replace Maria. Because, Maria retired.
I don't even know who
You don't know Maria?
I know how you solve a problem with Maria. I know Maria from West Side Story. I know Maria Ospenskaya, who was in all the Dracula movies. I don't know from
You
this
didn't
Maria.
know Maria.
No.
That's interesting.
I know Jose Maria Olafable, who's a golfer. I know a lot of Marias, but I don't know
But
that
you
Maria.
didn't know her.
Who was
Okay.
she? Was she a multi-cult character?
She was a Puerto Rican, I
Hispanic,
do
of
believe.
course, yeah, right.
Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I think she was. But she was like one of the original cast members, and she, stayed up with the program throughout the entire time.
You know who Mr. Green Jeans was?
I do.
Of course, from Captain Kangaroo.
Yes, sir.
You see Hillary Clinton wearing the outfit that looked like Captain Kangaroo the other day? It was unbelievable.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
It's uncanny. I've been on the entire weekend. Every single time we go to the weather, I have to have Dave tell me it's time to go to the weather. I can't remember that. My mind is just not.
Well, maybe
not
you can do
working
it
too well.
tomorrow.
Here is, by the way, I wanted to call up Cheryl Scott from ABC and say, Cheryl, look, I got the weather on my iPhone app. I don't need that. Will you please tell me, Cheryl, what Jerry Taft is wearing right now?
Today, rain or snow shower. Expect a high today of 42. And then for tonight, a snow shower early, clouds breaking, wind subsiding, colder with a low of 24. And then tomorrow, breezy and cold
Jerry.
with times of clouds and sun, snow and ice at
Are
night.
you wearing that
Expect your high of
Captain
40
Kangaroo
degrees.
outfit? What's in
Jim
those green jeans of
Talamonte,
yours, Jerry?
Get me a roadway out of here.
Thank you. Thank you, Deb and Bruce. Happy Friday indeed. Eden's inbound. Little sluggish. Peterson to the junction. It's holding at about 21 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, it's fine at 19. Inbound Kennedy. Slow from Cumberland, much of the way downtown. It's about 30 minutes. O'Hare to the Loop. Outbound, 22 minutes. Inbound Eisenhower. Delays are from Mannheim to Harlem, then in pockets from Costner into the Loop. 41 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 34. Inbound Stevenson. 39 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is 23 minutes. 95 to downtown. I-57 just a little slow at the merge. Bishop Ford, you've got a 2-minute delay from 103rd to the Ryan. Tollways, lighter than usual. In fact, we're really not seeing any significant delays on the tollways. I'm Jim Talamonte, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Consumer borrowing rises. Democrats stall Barack Obama's SEC nominees. And more than 40% of student loan borrowers aren't making payments. Those stories next.
Tax problems? They only get worse if you don't do anything. Are you an individual or business that owes at least $10,000 in back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns? Don't risk garnishments or levies on your wages, bank accounts, or accounts receivable. Call Rapid Resolution Tax Group now. They're Better Business Bureau A+ rated and accredited. Tax attorneys, enrolled agents, tax professionals, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. No tax problem is too big. They've helped many people just like you with their tax problems. Pick up the phone and call 800-601-2929 now. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can settle your tax debt for less, remove penalties and fees, stop garnishments and levies. You may even qualify for the IRS Fresh Start Initiative. You do have rights as an American. Don't let your tax problems get worse. Call Rapid Resolution Tax Group for a free consultation at 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929. Call now.
Consumer borrowing on the rise. The Fed says outstanding consumer credit rose by more than $17 billion in February, a growth trend that's continued every month for the past 4.5 years. More than 40% of college students borrowing money from the government's main student loan program aren't making payments on their debts. The Education Department's new report raises concerns that more than $200 billion owed may never be repaid. Two of the president's nominees to the SEC have been stalled by opposition from top Senate Democrats. Elizabeth Warren and Charles Schumer both say Mr. Obama's nominees aren't strong enough on political spending issues, forcing the Senate Banking Committee to postpone a vote. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
The school year is coming to an end, so even though your kids aren't thinking about the next school year, you should be, especially if you want to send your child to a private school. You might think that there's no way you could ever afford to do that. Well, we want to tell you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you'll find dozens of local private schools that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price, and there's no catch. It's very simple. Find a school near you. Purchase the tuition voucher and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located all across Chicagoland, including schools in Chicago, Roselle, Arlington Heights, Westchester, and Downers Grove. Start thinking about back to school today. This might make private school a real option for your family for the first time. But don't wait. Many of these vouchers will sell out before class resumes this fall. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and often people tell me that they have been hearing our advertisements for years. What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life.
I'm sleeping better. Usually I fall asleep, I would wake up and then have a problem falling back asleep. And I don't have that anymore. I mean,
Good.
Maybe once in a blue moon, but it hasn't happened really that much at all.
With the Balance of Nature, actually, I don't feel hungry anymore with the Balance of Nature and the fiber and spice. I feel energetic, and my head is pretty clear, and I've only been taking it for a week.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Captain. Come on out and play. Wake up the sunshine and share this friendly day. Good morning,
Is that the new Captain Kangaroo music? I want like pre-1960 Captain. It went do 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 do. I mean, this is the newfangled Captain. It's probably like a female Captain. There it is. You hear strains of the old.
Yeah.
Mr. Green Jeans, Bunny Rabbit, Beauregard Burnside the Third. Oh no, wait a minute. No,
That's
no.
on,
Oh, wait a minute. That's Garfield
That's
Goose.
Garfield
a goose.
Romper Rabbit.
Romberg.
Is Romper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Romper Room. You're conflating
right.
Romper
That's
Room
right.
with
That's
Romper
right.
Rabbit.
That's right.
All right, Bruce Wolf and Deborah Rowe in for Dan and Amy. There's a story. Got this from Larry Lujak. Rush Limbaugh got this from Larry Lujak. Bernie Sanders to visit Vatican City days before the New York primary. Why is he going to Vatican City? I'll tell you why I'm going to Vatican City. Here's why the Pope just came out with this encyclical or something like that today, saying that we should let up on the gays and everything like that. And I tell you, I think a man is this a decent Bernie Sanders?
It is,
All right,
actually.
it's okay.
It really
I mean,
is.
all Jews should be able to do that.
sounds
All right, so here's the thing: a man should be able to marry a woman. A frog should be able to marry a pig. Because we're talking about Sesame Street before, but the only people who shouldn't be able to get married are people who make money on Wall Street. They should remain celibate or should be castrated. Yeah. By the way, you can phone us at 312-642-5600 on the turnkey.pro answer line or send us a text on the turnkey.pro text line at 64636. You want to take a call?
I do, but about the Vatican City.
Why is he going there?
We'll find out in just a
Oh,
moment.
he's attending a conference hosted by the Pontifical Academy of Social Sciences. Oh, sure.
Oh, now see, here's the thing about that. The Pope wants the U.S. and other nations around the country to admit more Middle East refugees. He said that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, why won't he open Vatican City for more Middle East refugees?
Tear down that wall.
Tear down that
Mr.
wall.
Francis.
There you go.
And that's not how you talk about him. Let's go to, we were talking about Sesame Street and how bad it is because, it's, political indoctrination. Let's go to Mark from Morocco, Indiana. Well, he's from the Middle East. He's going to favor.
Hey, Mark,
how are ya?
he's
going to favor an Afghanistan puppet on Sesame Street. But go ahead, Mark.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, thanks a lot. Hey, just to be clear, Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, all that, before this trash just happened last year, they were one of the only modern relationships that maintained, period.
You know what?
They were together for like 35 years.
But they weren't married, and that is miscegenation. You're talking about interspecies, marriages. I mean, really, that's where it all started. That's where it all went bad, when the amphibians were allowed to get married. Let's go very quickly to Robin in Batavia. Hi, Robin.
Hi. I just wanted to let you guys know how entertaining I think you are. You're a nice change of pace.
Thank you so much. Robin. So how's the nuclear fallout in Batavia going, Robin? Don't you have a nuclear power plant in there? All right. Thank you so much, Robin. When we come back, I don't think we're coming back. I think we have to attend the wedding of Miss Piggy and Bernie Sanders.
Winning. The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If medications haven't helped you treat your depression, why haven't you tried TMS therapy offered by Theramind? Now there is a way to successfully treat your depression without the need for meds and their harmful side effects. TMS therapy is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Don't continue to suffer needlessly. Call Theramind. Don't wait. Call Theramind now. 847-562-5868. The single greatest advancement to date in treating depression is TMS. It's an FDA-cleared, non-drug, safe, and effective treatment. TMS has already changed the lives of over 50,000 patients. Why not you? Visit tmsmind.com. Depression can be beaten, and without drugs. Call Theramind today, 847-562-5868, or get more info at tmsmind.com. That's Theramind at 847-562-5868, or online at tmsmind.com.
Learn how to take the guesswork out of investing with Arlington Capital Management's Proactive Asset Allocation Strategy, or PAS. Learn about it live in Orland Park on April 12th at 6:30 p.m. or in Arlington Heights on April 16th at 10 a.m. Call 855-471-5796 to reserve your space or visit arlington-capital.com.
This is Joe Lopresti from Arlington Capital Management. Change in the market shouldn't take you by surprise. In fact, the market tends to change cycles about once every 18 months. That's why we've developed proprietary tools designed to help us see what's beyond your investment horizon. We're dedicated to knowing when to capitalize on opportunity and when to protect you from a major decline. You don't have to be at the mercy of the market. Take control of your investments and join me at a live seminar in your town.
Learn Joe's proactive strategies live in Orland Park on April 12th at 6:30 p.m. or in Arlington Heights on April 16th at 10 a.m. Call 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com.
What's your caliber? Black Rhino Concealment knows many AM 560 listeners carry or plan to and want the best holsters for concealed carry, range practice, or competitive shooting. Black Rhinos are comfortable and safe. Every holster is handcrafted by veterans of 100% virgin Kydex with American-made fasteners. From precision fit and finish to secure retention and quick draw, a Black Rhino is the finest holster at a modest price. Backed by a lifetime material warranty and workmanship guarantee, Black Rhino has tactical carrier and concealed carry systems for every caliber. You and your firearm deserve a Black Rhino. The Second Amendment protects our right to bear arms, and Black Rhino protects those arms. Black Rhino Concealment, we hold your caliber against you. Visit blackrhinoconcealment.com or call 847-783-6499 for showroom info. Use the promo code AM560 for a 10% discount on your first order. That's 847-783-6499.
Hi, Tom Sadeka, CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. If you are like me and are listening to this station, chances are we hold some common values and truths we hold self-evident. That's the main reason Precision Payroll attracts great clients and great employees. Precision Payroll of America operates at the core with fundamental principles that drive our attitude and delivery of service. We work hard to provide the best in pricing and value. In addition, with our great team that has been with us a long time, you are ensured a lasting relationship with people who understand your needs and always stand ready to serve. What sets us apart is that we view what we do as a great opportunity to serve others in a professional and technical capacity while building long-lasting relationships. That's what we treasure. If this message hits home, please call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507 or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
Coming up after the news, how are you a liberal? Give us a call at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. Everybody's a liberal some way. Pardon my Avenue Q. Now it is time for the news with Mike Scott.
Bruce and Deborah, the president makes a case for his Supreme Court nominee. CTU President Karen Lewis wins another term. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He doesn't want the Catholic Church to sit in judgment anymore and throw stones. Pope Francis out with a new document called The Joy of Love. And while he isn't changing church doctrine, he says individual conscience should be the guiding principle on family life, sex, and marriage.
The Pope's urging everyone in the church to make marriages work. And then, if they don't, to be even closer to the people.
That's Vatican spokesman Greg Burke. Now, Bernie Sanders has accepted an invitation to go to the Vatican next week for a conference with the Pope on social, economic, and environmental issues.
I think the Clinton campaign has been getting a little bit nervous, and I think they have been getting more negative.
That's the Democrat Sanders on NBC's Late Night. Bill Clinton squared off with Black Lives Matters protesters.
Come on. No.
While campaigning for Hillary in Philadelphia. They're upset over a crime bill he signed as president that they say put a lot of black men in prison.
You are defending the people who kill the lives you say matter.
In the Republican race, Donald Trump's canceled a campaign trip to California, focusing on New York, where he has a big lead in the polls before the next primary on the 19th. A new AP GFK poll says 70% of Americans view Trump unfavorably. 59% see Ted Cruz that way. 55% have a negative view of Hillary Clinton. Secretary of State John Kerry is near the ISIS war front, going to Iraq. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, Secretary of State John Kerry making a surprise visit to Baghdad at a time when Iraqi forces are in the midst of trying to retake the strategic town of Hit on the Euphrates River from ISIS. Kerry speaking with Iraqi Foreign Minister Ibrahim al-Jafari.
And you and I have been working on a lot of different issues the last few years, so it's good to come and be able to visit.
He will also speak with the country's prime minister, a top Sunni leader, and a regional Kurdish leader, Dave.
And Jessica, the European Union says it's considering requiring that Americans and Canadians obtain visas to travel to certain European countries. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy, 34 degrees, winds west at 5 at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Mike Scott. Detectives are trying to figure out what caused a fire early this morning at U.S. Cellular Field. Officials say the blaze began in a storage room near Gate 2. Firefighter was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. Karen Lewis remains president of the Chicago Teachers Union without launching a $300,000 campaign. Lewis won another 3-year term after delegates voted this week to cancel an election for officers because no one stepped forward to challenge Lewis. An election would have cost the union about $300,000. Republican leaders in the Illinois General Assembly say they have a plan to restore some funding to human services programs that have been financially hit by the state budget crisis. AM 560's David Stewart lays out the plan.
The GOP leaders say programs for seniors, veterans, the developmentally disabled, the mentally ill, substance abusers, and rape victims would get $1.3 billion, in part from redirecting unused cash from special funds. Senator Christine Radonio.
We continue to find this situation unacceptable. We have crises cropping up all over the state.
But the GOP plan is contingent on also passing some of the public sector pension reforms promoted as part of Governor Rauner's turnaround agenda. David Stewart, Chicago.
The Chicago Archdiocese says among the reasons it's facing financial pressure are the anticipated multi-million-dollar settlements from priest sex abuse cases, plus financial losses at many parishes and schools. Archbishop Blaise Cupich says the cost of misconduct is one of the drivers of negative net worth. New details are emerging about Dennis Hastert's possible past misconduct in his hush money case. The Tribune says 4 have made what are being called credible allegations of sexual abuse by the former House Speaker while he was a teacher and coach at Yorkville High School. Chicago sports, NBA last night. Bulls all but certainly out of the playoffs after a loss to Miami, 106-98. On the ice, the Blackhawks easily made the playoffs, but will lose home ice after a loss to St. Louis, 2-1 in overtime. Baseball, Matt Latos gave up 1 hit over 6 innings of work. White Sox winners over Oakland, 6-1. Opening day later today at the Cell. Cubs over Arizona, 14-6. The news service of Little Caesars, home of the large $5 hot and ready pepperoni pizza. Everybody loves bacon. That's why Little Caesars is proud to announce that the hot and ready bacon-wrapped deep crust pizza is back for $12. A large, deep dish pizza wrapped in over 3.5 feet of bacon and hot and ready every day between 4 and 8, only at Little Caesars. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity warns of a third-party challenge.
The Washington Post today is claiming that a group of, quote, conservative leaders got together this morning to plot a third-party challenge if Donald Trump gets the nomination. I would argue, and I'm saying this respectfully, this is a death wish. This is a plan to help elect Hillary. This is a circular firing squad.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
QL1, does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
Negative control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes.
That is fast, like rocket fast.
It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
People all across the country are enjoying the flexibility of working when they want, earning extra money on their schedule when they drive with Uber.
With Uber, you can write your own paycheck. You sign up, you get approved, and you start earning money right away. Right away, like the next day. Turn it off when you want to make money, you turn it off when you don't. It's just that simple. What are you waiting for?
Enjoy the flexibility of working when you want, earning extra money on your schedule. Sign up to Drive with Uber today. Go to drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
7:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Let's get the latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Adams Tollway eastbound I-90. Traffic is jamming up between Arlington Heights Road to around the spot before Bussey where there's a crash. The left lane is blocked there. The other tollways for now are looking pretty good, but light traffic volume. The Edens inbound is heavy Peterson to the junction. 21 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 24. Inbound Kennedy, stop and go, Cumberland to Montrose and Keeler to the Burn Circle. 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 20 from Montrose at 15 on the Express. Outbound, just a 5-minute delay, Montrose to Sayre. Eisenhower, 43 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 34 to Stevenson. With the main delay from Harlem to Kedzie, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 15 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 17. Lakeshore Drive is good. No delays to report in Northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our opening day forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today will be mostly cloudy, windier, and chilly. A rain or snow shower in spots for the morning, followed by rain and snow showers for the afternoon. Little or no accumulation. High today 42. A snow shower around tonight. Clouds then breaking, low 24. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
34 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Artistic Dentistry, providing excellence in the art of science and dentistry. Visit donewithdentures.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Our friends in the media tell us that Donald Trump is unstoppable in New York State.
It might seem like a fairy tale for Hillary Clinton to be riding the subway.
I love it because it's so convenient. It is just the best way to get around.
Maybe the American people might wonder about your qualifications, Madam Secretary, when you voted for the war in Iraq.
You are defending the people who killed the lives you say matter. Tell the truth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Ding, 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 ding. Bruce Wolf.
Pants and boots and 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 pants and boots.
Bruce Wolf and Deborah Rowe in for Dan and Amy. I love that montage of sound before because it's basically a Fox News special report in about 25 seconds.
Wow.
Which is great because then you don't have to watch it. That's the only news show I watch, but even that I don't watch. I watch like the lead story. By the time they get down to the grapevine or whatever, it's like, hey, Catherine Herridge, you got anything? Got anything for me? And then you speed ahead to Krauthammer's comments. You skip Mara Eliason because she's the standard liberal from NPR, although she's nice. By the way, Kirsten Powers the other night in the black dress.
That's
were you
what
watching
you're
her?
watching for.
I think she's lost weight. I think she's
only
lost
two
weight.
things I like on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Baer.
Yeah, love Brett.
I love his special, special report.
Right.
And Greg Gutfeld.
No, see, I don't like Greg Gutfeld.
He is
you know
so
why?
funny.
Well, that's why I don't like him. Because he
in
got
your
a great
space.
Well, he got a great review from Florence King on his book, and Florence King was my heroine. I got 2 note cards back from her once on letters. Anyway, our topic for this segment here, and call us at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600, or text us on the turnkey.pro text line at 64636. Type in DA and then your comment. How are you a liberal? Like from Avenue Q, everybody's a little bit racist. How are you a liberal? I'm a liberal because I recycle. Just started it recently. I don't know why. I mean, because the garbage can is there. I watch Modern Family, so I'm tolerant that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't smoke. And I think a generation or two ago I would have smoked. And that's how the liberals get to you. They chip away. I mean, that's how they're doing it with the gun rights.
Oh, yeah.
With the gun laws, because no gun legislation actually works, but they're just chipping away till Eddie Verdoliak takes part of a class action lawsuit, gets a little vigorous on one of those for abolishing or making gun manufacturers liable for when you shoot somebody.
All right, I guess.
How are you liberal?
I was thinking about this like overnight and yesterday.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything and I don't really want to say this because it's a compliment to liberals and I don't want it to be.
Go ahead, spit it out.
I am a liberal in the sense that I really root for the underdog. And let me finish this. Liberals like to say they root for the underdog, but it's just to keep them under their feet.
Exactly.
So
there's a difference between sympathy and pity.
Yeah.
Pity is what you do for the Palestinians. Because as Abba Eban, the late foreign minister of Israel, said, the Palestinians never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. And the thing is that they want to keep the people down.
Yes.
They want to keep the underclass under. Mm-hmm. We as conservatives want them to rise up. We want them to rise. Let's go to Mark from Oak Lawn. Mark, I know you didn't call for that purpose, but how are you a liberal? Is there something, that's Weasley about you,
good
Mark?
Morning, Mark?
Good morning.
Good morning. I got to say, I am kind of a liberal because the first term of Obama, I voted for him.
Oh, my God. That's not kind of a liberal. That's somebody who needs to go to a re-education camp.
It didn't matter.
I gotta tell you, though, this is the same reason I'm voting for Trump.
Uh-oh.
And I listen to Deborah, and she's right on. Mm-hmm. We are the people that believe in hope.
Yep.
We believe that something can get better.
Mark, is it possible that you've just made the same mistake again? Is it possible?
And you know what? It is possible.
Yeah. So, Mark, why don't you? I want you to read National Review religiously, and I want you to call me back the next time I substitute, which I believe is on December 25th. I just made that up. Thank you, Mark. I'm sorry to cut you off. Marianne from Kankakee.
Good morning, Marianne.
Hi, Marianne.
Hi, I'm actually just on my way down south, but I'm in Kankakee at the moment. Bruce, I don't think recycling is just a liberal thing.
That's right.
I think it's a good economic practice.
Wait a minute, Marianne, can I ask you a question? Because I remember when they told us years ago, don't throw your Pampers away because they're going to fill up the landfill. And then,
well, that's just crazy.
Well, right, but I saved all the Pampers. And do you know, with 5 kids, how how that smells in a... I mean, really. So I'm a little upset.
And you can't repurpose those into anything, really.
No, Pampers are okay to throw into a landfill. Am I right?
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
All right, well, Marianne, thank you very much for your call.
Be
We
safe on
appreciate
the
it.
road down there. Yeah. And she makes actually a very good point because I recycle too. And I don't like this kind of division that we're talking about because it makes it sound as though all the smart, good things liberals do. Yeah, I recycle, but I'm really not a liberal. So what? We recycle. It's healthy. It's good. The problem becomes when you're recycling and nothing comes of it. That's what happened in Chicago initially when they implemented the program.
Okay.
They had people separating their garbage, and it was all getting thrown in one big
Right. Like, just like a Simpsons cartoon.
Exactly.
It all goes down the same funnel.
Yeah.
Phil from Norwich, good morning.
Morning, Phil.
Bruce, this isn't why I called, but I'm a liberal because I like free stuff.
Exactly. That's no question.
But Bruce, I need your help.
Yeah.
I'm in a panic here. It's opening day for the White Sox.
Yeah.
Can you get in touch with Chet, and can you ask him to make an appearance on the show before 9 o'clock?
Well,
is that possible?
Phil, it's going to cost you because you're not getting free stuff here. You know what I'm saying, Phil? What are you willing? What are you willing to make a donation on behalf? How about
just one more? No, but just one more thing.
Yes.
You were talking about Cheryl Scott before.
Yeah, be careful. Now.
Look at these guys. Look at these guys.
Cheryl Scott.
Look at these guys.
As I said before, all I wanted to do was call. I worked with Cheryl Scott at Channel 5. I gave her a ride home once. Very nice woman. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is I'd like to call. I don't need her for the weather. I've got an iPhone app in one hand, for the weather, and the other for the other hand, I watch Cheryl Scott with. I have the remote in my hand, is what I'm trying to say. That's why, Dave. That's what were you thinking? I would like to. I would just like to call. I would just like to call her up and say, Cheryl. Cheryl, I got the iPhone app for weather. Will you please tell me what Jerry Taft is wearing right now?
I had a telephone introduction to your wife.
Yes.
God bless that woman. That's all I want to say. God bless that woman.
Yes. She's a very nice woman.
She's a wonderful woman.
She's a very
patient
nice
woman.
She's lived with me for 40 years. Do you know what you go through?
Do
you know what you go through?
That's what I'm saying.
Even the children of Israel were wandering in the desert for only 40 years.
I know.
I mean, we're beyond 40 years
My
right now.
respect and admiration for her.
You go through a lot.
Just like, wow.
No, you go through a lot. Did you go in your marriage? Seriously. I mean, did you go through, a decade or two where you're trying to feel yourself out?
Actually, the first 7 years, and it was because my dad said, you know what? They are both so spoiled.
You were spoiled?
I.
How were you spoiled?
My parents doted on me.
What did they do? Let you have your own room?
Well, I shared a room with my sister.
That's not spoiled.
Yet loving your children and complimenting them and giving them things that,
you couldn't have been spoiled because you didn't live in the iPhone era. Everybody's got an iPhone now. The kids are totally spoiled.
When I say spoiled, I don't mean just showered with a bunch of things. I had some things. But my point was, my dad was right. Those first 7 years were very rocky. And it seems like magically after that, it was just like, okay, this is how you do this. Okay.
It's only after 7 years?
It took 7
You're
years.
a quick learner.
Really?
I am constantly learning. I call myself a serial monogamist with the same woman because it's just like, okay, and then it's, it gets better and better.
But I
now
told
you could ask her and say, "Oh, that was a nice little blarney you threw in there."
Day, it's really about submission, and I'll leave it at that.
And the man submits in a Jewish marriage.
Both.
All right, Susan from Orland Park. Good morning. How are you a liberal,
Susan?
Hi, I love you, Bruce, and
Thank you.
You and Florence King are my heroes.
To be put in the same.
Dawn King.
Yeah, Florence King.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
Florence
so
King.
wonderful to laugh in the morning this week. Thank you. I'm a little bit liberal in that I'm a little old-fashioned. I read National Review from cover to cover for years, decades now.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit old-fashioned liberal where I believe in free speech and tolerance, the true meaning of tolerance,
Susan,
not the progressive.
Isn't it the chickens are coming home to roost for the liberals, because a lot of the liberals are in the media, and they believe that everybody's conservative about their special interest, and for the liberals it's the First Amendment. Now they see the First Amendment under attack on the campuses, and there's no logic to the liberals' argument, because hey, we want to get rid of the Second Amendment, we want to treat kids like toddlers, and free speech has got to go. The greater the truth, the greater the libel. So I like that the liberals are being hoisted by their own petard.
So she's
Don't you agree?
Exactly.
Old
The
school
care
liberal.
for the GOP right now is conservatism. They put themselves in a corner. It's Cruz or nothing.
Thank you, Susan. Keep reading National Review, and she paid me the highest compliment. She compared me with Florence King.
I heard
Florence
that.
King was the
heard
greatest of all time.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I got to give equal time here. Cheryl,
Here's my time.
what is PJ Hoff wearing right now? Oh, come on. All right, here's the weather with Deborah.
All right, today rain or snow shower, high of 42. Tonight, a snow shower early, clouds breaking, wind subsiding, colder, a low of 24. And then tomorrow, breezy and cold with times of clouds and sun, snow and ice at night, and a high of 40. What's happening on our roadways, Jim Talamonte?
Well, Deb and Bruce, things are looking pretty light right now on many of the expressways and tollways, including the Stevenson, with it's getting a little heavier now. Still Harlem to Kedzie and Cermak to Lakeshore Drive, but it's a lot better than it was yesterday. 46 minutes at the time, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 36 from the Tri-State, and outbound it's now clear. Eden's 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Kennedy, 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound only 25. The Eisenhower is 45 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 34. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, looking good. Bishop Ford, just a 2-minute delay approaching the Ryan. Northbound Tri-State heavy at 290. Eastbound Adams tollway is a delay from Arlington Heights Road to before Bussey, where a crash just cleared. The other tollways right now are fine. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I did it. I brought it with me. My pillow. I cannot live without it. I always tell people that I bring it with me on vacation, and I did. And so many listeners are convinced now that they should get a My Pillow for themselves. If you're having problems sleeping, why not try it? If you're having neck pain, back pain, headaches, insomnia, a My Pillow can make the difference. You have to try My Pillow to really experience the benefits. It's a premium pillow with 4 different loft levels to fit you. It's washable, it keeps its shape, and supports you where you need it most. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. Act now and get 2 My Pillows for the price of one for you. The other is a gift. It's the best offer, so visit mypillow.com. Type Amy in that promo code, 2 for the price of 1, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea, brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
A beauty day to play 18, huh, Dale? 80 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. The forecast looks great for the next 3 days, too. Looks like we'll just schedule 3 more courses this week.
You've been pretty lucky that you've been able to spend some quality time in the sun. Something that you may not be so lucky with is the fact that 1 in 5 people will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. At Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, they know that most people are unaware of the effects that a lifetime of sun can have on their skin. If you've been sunburned in your lifetime, it's time to have your skin checked out. Call Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates at 855-560-SKIN. or visit skinhealthpros.com. The doctors at Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates have your skin health covered. Skin cancer kills, so today's the day to get your skin checked. Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, 855-560-SKIN. or visit skinhealthpros.com. Healthy skin, healthy body, healthy, happy you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back. We're at the beautiful Puerto Los Cabos Golf and Spa Resort in Los Cabos, Mexico. Dan and Amy here. Our trip sponsored by Artistic Dentistry and Dermatology and Plastic Surgery and Associates, and of course, Apple Vacations.
Yeah, I want to thank Apple Vacations for a great trip. It's been a lot of fun, and we've had a lot of fun with listeners.
We've had a lot of fun with you.
and Dan has had a lot of fun. And when I refer to myself in the third person, you know that's because I've been drinking heavily. And one of those listeners who also has been known to have a mature libation from time to time, I've noticed, is Bob from North State Seal. Bob, thanks for joining us.
How many tequila shots did you have yesterday? And I'd like you to please be honest.
I was basically counting off Dan because you were kind of the leader of the whole thing.
Right, that's right.
I followed up with whatever you didn't seem to drink. I think I had about 6. Wow. At least 6. After that, it was, who cares? Right?
That's right.
You move on to the next thing and try to get out of the pool.
That's right. But I appreciate you recognizing my leadership qualities when it comes to this matter.
And
you and I talked about possibly starting a side business. So, as you might know, I have a new puppy, an English Bulldog. Her name is Bunky. She's 5 months old. And by chance, you have a male English Bulldog. Tell me.
We have a male Bulldog. I believe he's 2 years old. He's raring and ready to go. So if we can pair him up with a little something, a little something might happen.
Yeah.
So here's
maybe
the deal.
send the two of them to Secrets in Puerto Los Cabos for a romantic
we can
weekend.
Put them on a little floaty mat.
I'm sure Apple Vacations could wire that up for you. Yeah.
But here's the deal. A lot of people go down south to find little puppy English Bulldogs because they tend to breed them in the south, in Alabama, Florida. So we could start something here. And you have how many acres in your backyard?
Oh, we got 2 acres, 2 solid acres, so they can run. They don't run very far, those dogs. They don't have big, long legs. But, we'll get them out there and let them mosey around.
And how much do you think we could sell per pup?
Well, I'm going to guess in the $2,000 to $3,000 range, easily. I mean, we had the guy wanted originally $2,800 for our dog. Got him down to $2,000. And it took us all week to do it. So
that's a good backup business if you don't make that Swedish reality TV show.
Absolutely.
Oh, and same to you, Bob. If you don't make that Swedish reality TV show as well.
Any way you can make a buck, I'm in.
But thank you so much for being one of the sponsors on the trip. We love you, love your wife, and I really think we should do this side business. But what would we call it? Dan, you're good. The dog's name is Bunky and Tank. What do you think?
I think I'm going to have to think about that. If it's going to be a business, it's got to be beyond just those pair of dogs, right? If you're going to be breeders.
Yeah.
Remember the British Bulldogs, that WWF tag team?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it could be like, I don't know, the Swedish Bulldogs.
The Swedish Bulldogs?
I don't know. That needs to be workshopped. I'm still suffering a little bit from the tequila.
Yeah.
So let me think about that a little bit more.
He's got tequila-itis over here, so it's a rash and a rare condition. But if you want to check out our fun time that we're having here at Secrets Puerto Los Cabos, go to 560theanswer.com/escape or find us on Facebook or on Twitter at Chicago or at Morning Answer.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hey, the security officers at your business are an extension of your business. Because they are, you got to have the best. Often the first person your customer meets is your security officer, so they need to be professional, friendly, and courteous. Hey, if you're having issues with your security provider, don't tolerate it. Man, call Guardian Security Services. They're friends of mine. They're at the top of their game, setting the bar for customer service for the past 41 years in Chicago. Easy to reach if you have questions. positions. They pride themselves on a client retention ratio greater than 95% and the best training and vetting practices in the industry. Hey, if you're unhappy with your on-site security officer or doorman, hey, call Guardian Security Services. Get a free consultation and tell them Joe Walsh sent you. Right now, call 708-385-3300. That's 708-385-3300 or online at GuardianSecurityInc.com.
Running a business is tough these days. From a president who claimed it
You didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
to the mountains and mountains of taxes and regulations here in Illinois. But many companies, big and small, have persevered, serving their customers and communities. If that's you and your business, then AM 560 The Answer wants to celebrate your success and tell your story. It's the AM 560 Business Tour 2016, presented by Signature Bank. This spring, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses in Illinois with success stories of overcoming the odds and thriving in spite of the challenging business environment. If your company fits this description, then we want to know about it so we can consider broadcasting from your location. Tell us your story. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business. Sponsored in part by Flex Execs Management Solutions.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis, and it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice, and then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable, and I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up, more Obama bashing on the 9, Hillary bashing on the 10s, and why you should go to Rockford. It's just a little weird why you should go to Rockford. Right now, we should go to Mike Scott in the newsroom.
Nothing weird about Rockford. Cloudy and 34 degrees, wind south at 5. And at Vatican City this morning, there was a new move by Pope Francis to offer hope to Catholics who divorce and remarry. The long-awaited document from the Pope entitled The Joy of Love seems to leave open the question of whether divorced and remarried Catholics can receive communion. Authorities using dogs, SWAT teams, and helicopters continue their search this morning for an accused killer who escaped from a psychiatric hospital south of Tacoma, Washington. The Golden State Warriors are now just the second NBA team in history to win 70 games. Warriors now 70-9, and they will have home court advantage throughout the playoffs after last night's 112-101 victory over San Antonio. Donald Trump is a dual-threat front-runner this morning, where a new Associated Press GFK poll finds the leading candidate for the GOP presidential nomination is also the most disliked by Americans of nearly every race, gender, and political stripe. Ted Cruz and Hillary Clinton also have significant negatives in that poll. Clinton insists this morning on NBC's Today Show that she never said rival Bernie Sanders was unqualified to be president.
His response to me was a misrepresentation of what I've said.
Sanders stopped by the NBC late night show last night, saying he made the charge after Clinton said those things about him. Detectives are trying to figure out what caused a fire early this morning at U.S. Cellular Field. A firefighter was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. The Sox home opener is scheduled for this afternoon. A person seriously hurt after a car crashes into a Southwest Side Walgreens. The incident happened early this morning near Harlem and Archer Avenues. 3 are recovering after 2 sheriff's deputies following a 3-vehicle accident were injured on the Eisenhower Expressway. That sheriff's vehicle and 2 other cars crashed last night near Forest Park. Karen Lewis remains president of the Chicago Teachers Union after an election for officers was canceled. Lewis was given another 3-year term. Chicago sports, Bulls certainly fading and likely out of the playoffs after a loss to Miami, 106-98. Last night on the ice, the Blackhawks lose home ice throughout the playoffs after a loss to St. Louis, 2-1 in overtime. White Sox over Oakland, 6-1. Cubs over Arizona, 14-6. The news service of Little Caesars, home of the large $5 hot and ready pepperoni pizza. Everybody loves bacon. That's why Little Caesars is proud to announce that the hot and ready bacon-wrapped crust deep dish pizza is back for $12. A large deep dish pizza wrapped in over 3.5 feet of bacon and hot and ready every day between 4 and 8, now only at Little Caesars. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager doesn't get Trump supporters.
It is clear to me from emails that many Trump supporters feel this way, and what they're in effect saying, they regard the Republican Party as either as big a problem for the country as the Democratic Party or as an even bigger problem. I 100% disagree.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's spring. Time to get catching and cooking. Don't miss Cabela's Spring Great Outdoor Days. Their biggest sale of the season in Hoffman Estates or Hammond and Cabela's.com.
We Got a Bingo is the interactive comedy everyone is raving about.
We got a bingo.
What's your favorite part of the show?
The bingo caller. Lucky. The priest. The music. The leaderhosen guy.
How would you describe the show to your friends?
Unbelievable. It's funny.
Very interactive, entertaining. Critics rave, saying We Got a Bingo is a hilarious night of bingo and beer. The polka band rocks.
I'd come again and again and again and again. You just have to go see it.
Be a hero to your family and friends. Call 312-391-0404 or visit WeGotABingo.com.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
I mean, that's just not how I approached it.
Security
it turns out that if the process is fair,
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens has followed delays from Foster to the junction. 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy is 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. Eisenhower, 46 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 34. Stevenson now 51 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 41 from the Tri-State, outbound 35 minutes to 3:55. Orion, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy from the Stevenson to 31st. Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower, and then from the Bensonville Bridge to Lawrence. But Adams Tollway stop and go from Arlington Heights Road to Bussey. Veterans Memorial a little slow, 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic is a service of Jackson Hewitt. File with Jackson Hewitt for 100% accuracy, maximum refund guaranteed, and $50 on an Amex Surf Card. Jackson Hewitt, where taxes are less taxing. Minimum tax prep fee required. Valid in participating locations. Terms and conditions apply. See jacksonhewitt.com for details. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Morning rain or snow shower, then rain or snow showers return for the late afternoon. Right as the White Sox kick off their home opener around 3 this afternoon, 42 for a high temp, and a snow shower early overnight. And then clouds break after midnight, leading to a cold low of 24. 34 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. And with Dan and Amy, listeners in Mexico, Chicago's Morning Answer continues next with Bruce Wolf and Deborah Rowe on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, one of Chicagoland's most respected names in retirement planning. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for information.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
You know that song, Deb? You know what song that is? What song?
I don't know the name of that song.
Well, give us a couple of words. You're faking
said
it.
I don't know.
You're like
Faking what?
my mother in 1969. We were at a party and somebody goes up to her and says, "I love Led Zeppelin, this new group." My mother. Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I love it. And I go, "Mom," because I'm like 15. You don't even know who Led Zeppelin are.
I just said I didn't know the
This
name
is
of
Cheap
the song.
Trick.
I
and
know
it's the Dream
Cheap
Police.
Trick.
Okay.
Good for you.
All right, we're going to talk to a very important guest about Cheap Trick and Rockford and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Rockford Hall of Fame. But we have to do the obligatory Obama bashing on the 8s right now. So President Obama was in Chicago yesterday, at the University of Chicago Law School, where he had been not a professor, but just a lecturer, and he was talking up Merrick Garland, this Supreme Court nominee.
Yeah.
But, of course, he's being hoisted by his own petard, the president, because the radical students at the U of C wanted to know why another white guy was going to be nominated to the Supreme Court. They should have said, why another Jew, because he would be like the fourth Jew on the Supreme Court. But here's what the president of these United States had to say.
At no point did I say, "Oh, you know what? I need a black lesbian, from Skokie."
It's funny because I self-identify as a black lesbian from Skokie. I am from Skokie, and now I feel that I'm a black lesbian, and who's to say I'm not? Did you recognize me as such? May I enter the black lesbian bathroom in North Carolina?
I was only quiet because I've heard this about 4 times this morning. Fresh news, fresh material is always good. Go.
All right, I'm walking out. I knew we wouldn't make it through the whole week. I would. That was the matinee show. Cheap Trick plays Surrender 85 million times, okay? They don't go off and they don't start playing Bach Passacaglia and Fugue in C minor.
When I hear it twice.
This is what I do.
Okay, by the 4th time,
goodness.
I'm like, okay. I'm sorry.
Fake it till you make it, Tony Robbins. All right, here's the thing. The Cheap Trick is going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they are from Rockford.
Yes, they are.
Rockford, and their signs to Rockford used to say Rockford, gateway to Galena, if you're on Route 20. That's what we used to have a house in Galena. We'd stop off in Rockford. I think it's like exit 111 to go to the DQ. And one of our sons would, it was supposed to be like a pit stop. He'd stay in the bathroom for about 45 minutes. It would take us like 8 hours to get to Galena, but that's my problem, okay? We're glad to be joined right now by John Groh, the CEO of the Rockford Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, or the RACVB, as we like to call it. John.
Morning, John.
You're tricking up at, speak of the devil, you're calling it Trickford in honor of Cheap Trick, which is going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Thank you for deigning to join us this morning and tell us, how is Rockford getting excited about Cheap Trick?
Hey, Bruce. Hey, Deborah. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're so excited that today Rockford's favorite sons are getting inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame. Kind of long overdue. They've been rocking for 43 years, 5,000 shows, 20 million albums. It's about time. We're thrilled. We're tricking out the place, and we're excited for folks to come and experience Rockford and Cheap Trick's Rockford.
How are you tricking up Rockford? Because there's a lot of things, a lot of historical sites in Rockford you don't want to mess around with.
It's all about making it better. And one of the things we're doing, we're really excited about this. So we're going to launch later today a new Cheap Trick Trail. So basically like the haunts and the hangouts that the band, where they played, their early gigs, where they got their start. Is there like an
Abbey Road of Rockford where they walked across the street to go to the DQ? Or,
exactly.
Something like that.
I think it was exit, what did you say, 111?
Exit, yeah. I think it's 111. What, you don't know the exits at Rockford?
Oh, yeah, not quite the exit numbers. But, hey, yeah, so,
What, are you a carpetbagger, like from Mokina or something like that? Or,
I'm a lifer.
You're a
lifer
lifer
just
from
like
Rockford.
Rick Nielsen. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Did you know any of the Cheap Trick members individually? Did you pull high school pranks with them? Did you form a garage band that they wouldn't let you who didn't want to join? Tell us, John.
Well, these streets are still patrolled by the Dream Police. So we're, Rick still lives here, Bunny's still here.
John. Stick to the script. Yes.
Hey, Bruce. I didn't go to high school with the guys, but I'm actually more their kids' ages.
I get it. We're all make us feel old. All right, I'm going to ask you, John. All right,
Yep.
I'll put you on the spot because it's Karaoke
Okay, go for
Friday.
it.
I just decided. All right, start singing Surrender. Go. 3, 2, 1. Go. Go.
I don't want to. No, I can't do that live on the air. I don't want.
We'll help you a little. Ready?
Surrender. Don't give yourself away.
Hey, mommy's all right.
Right.
Daddy's all right. Come on.
Right.
They just seem a little weird. Surrender.
Okay, you're doing way better than me, Bruce.
All right.
Don't tell him. You will encourage him.
So-
Don't do that.
Deborah, you're so right.
Please don't do that.
Is it safe to say we're talking with John Groh, who doesn't know who John Groh is? The CEO of the Rockford Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. They're turning Rockford, into cheap Trickville. So Rockford is basically like the Liverpool of Illinois, isn't it? It's so exciting.
That's what that actually is our tagline. I mean, you just nailed it, Bruce. Thank you.
Are you serious here? Because I'm very naive. Now I read a story about this. You wanted to give them the key to the city, but somebody already, a previous mayor, gave them the key to the city. Maybe they lost their key to the city. Maybe they needed another one because they're kind of old. They can't find their keys.
We could potentially reproduce that, but yeah, that's been done before. So our mayor is unofficially going to rename the city later today as Trickford. So the kind of figured that the key thing had been done. What else is left to do? So Mayor Morrissey is going to officially rename the city.
Thank you,
Trickford,
John.
in honor of the band.
John, I actually saw Cheap Trick in concert. I kid you not. I don't see. We were talking earlier. The last concert I saw before that was Liza Minnelli at the Erie Crown Theater in -- but I saw Cheap Trick a few years ago because I was working with this group called Keshet, very good group that helps helps kids with severe learning disabilities, and they put on a great concert up north here. So they're a wonderful group. We're glad their songs, they still resonate. And now I'm getting kind of sentimental here. So people should go out to Rockford.
Absolutely. So come to Rockford, come to the home of Cheap Trick, Trickford. Later today, you can go on trickford.com. You can check out the Cheap Trick Trail, their haunts, their hangouts, their timeline, their bios. Some great new videos that are up celebrating it. And the whole thing is just to say to Rockford's favorite sons, congratulations, way to go. We're proud of you, and rock on.
Thank you so much,
and
John. We
the next
appreciate
time you come, I'll get a chance to ask you a question and talk to you. But
I'm
good?
sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
All right, real good.
I cut him
Thank
off.
Deborah, I'll call you later.
Thank you. Let's do that.
All right. Thank you, John. I'm sorry.
Take care, guys.
I didn't know that you cared about Cheap Trick.
You didn't give me any opportunity to, but that's okay.
All right. Here,
no.
you do all the commentary here about this soundbite from Bill Clinton
Let's
right now.
go right into it.
I don't know how you would characterize the gang leaders who got 13-year-old kids hopped up on crack and sent them out onto the street to murder other African-American children. Maybe you thought they were good citizens. She didn't. She didn't. You are defending the people who killed the lives you say matter. Tell the truth.
Bill Clinton getting heckled by the Black Lives Matter movement. Deb.
I know, but I was thinking, why stop now? Go on.
No, that's it. That's right. He spoke for 11 minutes. Yeah, he spoke for. He got angry, but he's alienating the black vote. He's alienating. Don't you have an opinion on that, Deb?
I don't know if I can get one in.
No, go ahead.
I don't know. I think you've just been circling your hand, meaning go to break.
No, I was pointing to you.
Let's go to break.
No, I was pointing to you. Am I facing the Black Lives Matter movement right now? I think I am. All right, I don't know if we're coming back. I may go to Rockford right now. We'll see if I'm going to be back.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
So I wrecked it here. Okay, all right.
You didn't wreck anything. You were being Bruce. I'm just a little peon in your world. So let me do the traffic and be
no.
happy to get this time.
I'll be the second banana this last hour of the show, okay?
All right. Today, rain or snow shower, high of 42. Tonight, a snow shower early, clouds breaking, winds subsiding, colder with a low of 24. And then tomorrow, breezy and cold with times of clouds and sun, snow and ice at night, a high of 40. Maybe I'll get a chance to talk with you, Jim Talamonte. What's happening out there?
Well, good morning, Debbie. We're happy to hear traffic is a little lighter than it's been all week at this time of the morning, this being a Friday. And the travel times are a little bit better. It's 22 minutes on the Edens from Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound is 25. The Kennedy holding at 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 30. The Eisenhower, 47 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 34. Stevenson heavy at 55 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. At just 41 from the Tri-State. Outbound just a little heavy approaching 294. The Ryan is 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57. Bishop Ford. They're delay free. Lakeshore Drive southbound. Slow Irving Park to Fullerton. And 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound heavier from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound slow 120 to 176. Northbound, the delays are from the Stevenson to 31st. Reagan Tollway to 290 and it's heavy. The Bensonville Bridge to Lawrence. The other tollways have some slow pockets, but they're also a good bit lighter than normal. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Every guy dreads the honey-do list, so give yourself a weekend off and check out ChicagoRadioDeals.com for some home improvement help. Hey, how's the air quality in your home? Allergens could be affecting the air you breathe. Well, Royal Home Comfort Services is offering several deals at half off their normal rate to improve the air quality in your home. Purchase a full home air duct cleaning for $195. Now, this deal includes all your ducts and an inspection of your furnace as well. They also have a deal to rid your home ductwork of all unwanted bacteria, including mold, fungi, and algae by using a natural cleansing agent to keep your family safe and healthy. But wait, there's more. Royal Home Comfort also has a deal to clean and inspect your home dryer vent for only $55. Now, if you want to tackle a project yourself, shop a great local hardware store with personal customer service. Purchase the Addison Building Materials $100 gift certificate for only $50. Addison Building Materials is a true value retailer. For more spring cleaning and home improvement deals, just visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Ducks.
Okay, we're here at CreditRepair.com, the most recognized name in the industry for resolving credit report issues and getting those scores up. With me, I got Aaron. Aaron, there's a lot going on here today.
That's right, Justin. Last year alone, we had over 500,000 calls from people needing help with improving their credit reports.
And no wonder. What you're doing works, right?
It sure does. Our proven process actually can help remove those unfair or inaccurate items from your credit report. And on average, people who have used our service have seen significant improvement in their credit scores month after month.
So when it comes to getting things in life that you really want, like a home, car, or even a new job, the first thing lenders usually look at is credit. So don't let a low credit score hold you back. Call CreditRepair.com today. And so what happens when they call?
Well, when you call, we're actually going to give you a free credit report, a free credit score, and a free evaluation to tell you what's going on right over the phone.
Call CreditRepair.com at 800-231-1735. That's 800-231-1735. 800-231-1735.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea, brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hola. We are at the
catchy,
beautiful.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I learned that from you. Hola. You're telling everybody hola.
Everybody says that here.
Yeah, they do.
They're very nice.
They're so friendly. We're at the beautiful Secrets Puerto Los Cabos Golf and Spa Resort in beautiful Mexico, and our trip is sponsored by Artistic Dentistry and
Dermatology and Plastic Surgery and Associates.
I think I'm going to have to go to the dermatology and plastic surgery folks after this trip because I've gotten a little bit of sun.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
I'm already peeling.
Have you thought about applying sunscreen?
I have not.
Maybe lotion after you get burnt then to put something on to repair the skin?
That's what I should have done. Now I know. Where were you 48 hours ago? And so you were out doing the American Idol competition here.
Yes.
And biking and hang gliding and snorkeling.
Mountain climbing.
And
I went to the Botanical Gardens. There's 150 different type of cactus there.
Wow. I hope
cacti.
you cataloged all 150 types so that we can share those with our listeners when we get back.
It was actually really cool. You know what it looked like? It looked like a large pumpkin patch. And they grow the cactus there, and it takes forever because, for a full-blown saguaro, it takes 40 years.
Wow.
So they have baby ones, and then they have smaller ones and 3-year, and they have different, sheds for each kind of cacti and the stage of development that they're in.
Your University of Iowa education in southwestern plants has really come in handy on this trip, hasn't it?
Well, I like the prickly pear. And I like the Old Father cactus. That was nice. And I went on the ride. Jeff Reisman was my buddy. We were bike buddies.
Oh.
That's our general manager.
Yeah.
Who had a birthday while we were here on the trip. The big
50.
Yeah, big 50.
Yeah, so while you were doing all that, I was mostly unconscious. But then I did wake up at about 1 in the morning to order a cheeseburger.
Okay.
Because I realized I hadn't eaten anything for about 18 hours. So I thought I should. And so I was watching some of the results, some of the, from Wisconsin, so Cruz winning.
You feel good about that?
Yeah, I do, and now more and more looking like a contested convention. So by the time we get back to Chicago, Civil War may have broken out in the United States, so that could be interesting.
Trump supporters are not going to take that lightly. They are going to riot.
It's going to be interesting to see. Now you got New York in 2 weeks, and I'm going to New York for the weekend when I get back.
Oh, wow, a little world travel.
Well, somebody of my stature.
What are you going to do there?
Around. I'm going to see the play Hamilton.
Oh.
Which everybody's raving about because only non-white people are allowed to try out for parts.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I'm going there to stand up in the middle of the play and say, "You lie," and see what happens.
You're going to have your Congressman Wilson moment?
Yeah.
Get up and say you lie?
With my Make America Great hat that you got me. I'm gonna do that. So see how that's received among all the theater goers on Broadway in Chicago.
And then Bernie kind of spanked Hillary Tuesday.
Yeah, and Hillary had a little bit of an abortion gaffe. I don't know if you've been paying attention. I'm sure it's been talked about by Bruce and Deborah. A little bit of an abortion gaffe. Not quite the hue and cry coming from the Washington press corps as compared to Trump. So for some reason, her ghoulish ignorance on the topic doesn't rate as much.
What happened?
She said that a unborn child does not have any constitutional rights until the child is actually born. So right up until delivery, no constitutional rights. So for someone who's a former U.S. senator and someone who was so sophisticated, and she's an attorney, she should familiarize herself with the Unborn Victims of Violence Act, passed in 2004, adopted at the state level by 80% of the states, that protects children in the womb.
Yeah, does she know about if a pregnant mother is shot, it's a double homicide because 2 lives are lost? I mean, that's just the basics there.
Yeah, so that is not getting as much play, although Hillary continues dropping like a stone. So it's very interesting. We're going to have 2 very interesting months of presidential primaries to talk about, so that's going to be fun when we get back. But I don't want to talk too much about that now or think too much about that because this is too nice to think about.
And we have to go
Trump
golfing.
And Bernie Sanders and Hillary.
We've got a tea time.
That's right, so let's get to it.
All right, and if you want to see any of our golf excursion, go to 560theanswer.com/escape or go to our Facebook page or find us on Twitter, which is @MorningAnswer.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
The critics of income inequality say they are for social justice. But what does that mean? It means that if you're really productive, if you work hard, create lots of wealth, and make a lot of money, you're doing something bad. You're creating inequality. So what's fair? Well, what's fair is the government take a bunch of your money and give it to other people. Why do they deserve it? Because they didn't create much wealth. That's what it comes down to. Social justice says to punish people who've done nothing wrong for the sake of other people who have not been wronged. On the other hand, justice says to punish people for the wrong they've done to others. To learn more, visit ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
If medications haven't helped you treat your depression, why haven't you tried TMS therapy offered by Theramine? Now there is a way to successfully treat your depression without the need for meds and their harmful side effects. TMS therapy is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Don't continue to suffer needlessly. Call Theramine. Don't wait. Call Theramine now. 847-562-5868. That's 847-562-5868. The single greatest advancement to date in treating depression is TMS, an FDA-cleared, non-drug, safe and effective treatment. TMS has already changed the lives of over 50,000 patients. Why not you? Visit them today at tmsmind.com. TMS, again, is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Depression can be beaten, folks, and without drugs. Call Theramine now, 847-562-5868. That's 847-562-5868 or tmsmind.com.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-663-1490. That's 1-800-663-1490. 1-800-663-1490.
Coming up, can Ted Cruz keep Donald Trump under 50% in New York? And can Hillary Clinton actually get on the subway in under 5 swipes? Now it's time for a look at the news with Mike Scott.
Bruce and Deborah, the president makes a case for his Supreme Court nominee. Illinois Republicans are pushing for a social services funding plan. The Cubs clobbered the D-backs while the White Sox take 3 of 4 from the A's. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Bernie Sanders insists
there is nothing radical about our agenda.
Sanders also tells NBC's Late Night Hillary Clinton's gotten more negative after his series of recent wins in Democratic contests. This as Bill Clinton gets into it with Black Lives Matter protesters as he campaigned for Hillary in Philadelphia. They're upset over a crime bill he passed as president for putting a lot of black men in prison, and he fired back.
46-year low in the deaths of people by gun violence. And who you think those lives were that mattered? Whose lives were saved that mattered?
Now, a new poll out shows a lot of Americans don't like the top candidates running for president. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Republican frontrunner Donald Trump's used to coming out on top in the polls, but this one may be one he's not too happy about. 7 in 10 people surveyed by the Associated Press GFK poll said they have an unfavorable view of Trump. That opinion shared by majorities of men and women, young and old, conservatives, moderates, and liberals, and whites, Hispanics, and blacks. Other candidates didn't do too well either. Ted Cruz is viewed unfavorably by 59% and Hillary Clinton by 55%, Dave.
Tony, the Pope wants Catholics to no longer sit in judgment, that individual conscience should be the guide on family life, sex, and marriage.
Pope Francis today published a 300-page document called The Joy of Love. It doesn't change church doctrine, but does address thorny issues such as how the church should deal with the divorced, gays, and unions outside of marriage. Vatican Deputy Spokesman Greg Burke sums it up.
The Pope is calling for a kind of gentle revolution. Let's hold out a helping hand for anyone who's hurting. Let's not judge or condemn.
At the Vatican, Courtney Walsh, Fox News.
SWAT teams and police using dogs remain on the hunt in Washington State for Anthony Garver, a psychiatric hospital escapee who broke out Wednesday. Garver was found mentally unfit to stand trial in a 2013 murder. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds and 36 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Detectives are trying to figure out what caused a fire early this morning at U.S. Cellular Field. Blaze began in a storage room near Gate 2. One firefighter was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. The fire breaks out as the White Sox get set to host their home opener this afternoon. A person is seriously hurt after a car crashes into a Southwest Side Walgreens. The accident happened early this morning inside a store near Harlem and Archer Avenues. The victim was hospitalized. 3 are recovering, including 2 sheriff's deputies following a 3-car accident on the Eisenhower Expressway. A Cook County Sheriff's vehicle and 2 others collided near Forest Park. Karen Lewis remains the president of the Chicago Teachers Union without launching a campaign. Lewis wins another 3-year term after union delegates voted this week to cancel an election because no one stepped forward to challenge her. Chicago Archdiocese says among the reasons it's facing financial pressure are the anticipated multi-million-dollar settlements from priest sexual abuse cases. Archbishop Blaise Cupich says the cost of misconduct is one of the drivers of current negative net worth. And President Obama has told the University of Chicago law students that if Senate Republicans hold their blockade on Merrick Garland's Supreme Court nomination, the judicial system will soon be viewed as an extension of partisan politics. The president returning to the school where he lectured on constitutional law part-time. Chicago sports, NBA, Miami over the Bulls, 106-98. Sox beat Oakland, Cubs over Arizona, and St. Louis beat the Blackhawks in OT, 2-1. Jordan Spieth will step to the tee as your first-round leader of the Masters. The news, a service of Little Caesars, home of the large $5 hot and ready pepperoni pizza. Everybody loves bacon. That's why Little Caesars is proud to announce that the hot and ready bacon-wrapped crust deep dish pizza is back for just $12. A large deep dish pizza wrapped in 3.5 feet of bacon. Hot and ready every day between 4 and 8, only at Little Caesars. It's 8:04 time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Turnkey.pro. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Lillian Wu.
From the Fox Business Network, stocks looking to rally at the open on Wall Street after losses yesterday. The Commerce Department this morning out with numbers on wholesale trade inventories for February. At a time when China is trying to block its public from seeing news about the finances of its leaders' families, an annual U.S. report on trade conditions cites the country's internet controls as a trade barrier. The U.S. Trade Representative says China's filters, which block access to sites including the Google search engine and Twitter, are a significant burden on businesses. And missing payments on student loans won't help your credit history, but it also won't send you behind bars. This according to the Education Department, which says as a last resort, though, those loans are referred to the Justice Department, something required by law. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
8:05 in Chicago, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In our culture today, by and large, we have abandoned a very valuable and financially profitable word.
Dave Ramsey.
A word that will change your life. No. Pull it out of the recesses of your mind. Install it back in the dictionaries that don't require political correctness. No, you can't buy that car. No, you can't afford it.
The Dave Ramsey Show. Weeknights starting at 7. Right before Michael Medved at 10. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to come in and speak with someone?
Negative, Control. With Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, you can go through the entire mortgage process on your own and completely online.
Copy that, QL1, but if I wanted to speak to someone, do you think they're out there?
They're out there, all right. Their award-winning client service is beyond anything I've ever experienced.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
People all across the country are enjoying the flexibility of working when they want, earning extra money on their schedule when they drive with Uber.
The first time I turned the app on was because I was going to visit my sister and thought I should probably make some extra cash so that I'll have spending money. And then I had $400. This is the best decision I made. It's a no-brainer, really.
Enjoy the flexibility of working when you want, earning extra money on your schedule. Sign up to Drive with Uber today. Go to drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
8:08 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has stop-and-go traffic from Montrose to the Burn Circle. 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 30 from Montrose, 25 in the Express. Outbound, it's 38 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Eisenhower, 50 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, 34 from Manheim, outbound 43 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The Ryan is 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, slow Irving Park to Fullerton and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound, slow 120 to 176. The northbound delays are from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial, slow 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A windier day with gusts up to 40 miles per hour. A rain or snow shower in spots for the morning, then rain and snow showers in the afternoon. Little or no accumulation, high today 42. An evening snow shower, then clouds breaking tonight, winds gradually subsiding, low of 24. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 35 at O'Hare. Next news 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by RadioPlumbingDeals.com. Have a plumbing problem? Get the best plumbers in Chicagoland and massive discounts at RadioPlumbingDeals.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Our friends in the media tell us that Donald Trump is unstoppable in New York State.
It might seem like a fairy tale for Hillary Clinton to be riding the subway.
I love it because it's so convenient. It is just the best way to get around.
Maybe the American people might wonder about your qualifications, Madam Secretary, when you voted for the war in Iraq.
You are defending the people who killed the lives you say matter. Tell the truth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Ding, 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 ding. Bruce Wolf and Deborah Rowe in the last hour that we're together.
No, I'm not going to say yay. I'm sad, too.
Oh, I'm sad, too, but I think you're getting like the 5-day itch.
I'm sad.
Oh, look, the subway grate. She's standing over it and her skirt just blew up. Okay, yeah. We'll talk more about Hillary Clinton. Yeah. Wouldn't that have been neat had it happened to Hillary Clinton?
She doesn't wear skirts. Like Marilyn Come on,
oh, you're
stick
right.
with it. She's
you're
a
right.
pantsuit lady.
All right, you just wrecked the whole thing. And by the way, you know what wafted up from that subway? I've been to New York. Oh, my God.
Come on.
You can give us a call on the turnkey.pro answer line at 312-642-5600. That's 312-642-5600, or send us a text. On the turnkey.pro text line at 64636, type in DA and then your comment. Okay, you heard a little snippet there of Bill Clinton. Should we play the whole Bill Clinton cut?
Before
right
we
now?
do, though, I think that people pretty much know where he was. He was in, I believe, Philadelphia on the campaign stump for his wife, and she needs all the help she can get. And the once powerful Bill Clinton, a fan favorite of Democratic voters, no longer, not so much now. Black Lives Matter, which gets into a lot of these, events, they really shouted him down. Now, we do have the audio. Let's hear
and
it.
just to, make this a train wreck before, because this is what I do. W.C. Fields said, frankly, I'd rather be here than in Philadelphia. And Bill Clinton does, especially when his nose gets red and everything, does have a W.C. Fields quality about him. So let's listen to Egbert Sousa accent grave over the E, try to shout down Black Lives Matter.
I don't know how you would characterize the gang leaders who got 13-year-old kids hopped up on crack and sent them out onto the street to murder other African-American children. Maybe you thought they were good citizens. She didn't. She didn't. You are defending the people who killed the lives you say matter. Tell the truth.
And I say too little, too late. I don't feel a bit sorry for Bill Clinton because Democrats forever and a day, when people such as myself and just regular people who will never be heard from in various communities have been saying forever, let's address the crime problem. Let's address the drug problem. Democrats come in and they tell us it's not your fault. It's the fault of this Republican policy. It's the fault of that Republican policy. But now that his wife wants to be president again, now he wants to speak and address the truth. Sorry.
Well, I'm a little confused because Hillary's constituency, it's the blacks.
Part of her constituency.
Bernie
it's also
Sanders
a
is
lot of whites.
Well, right, but she appeals to the minorities. Bernie hasn't been able to do this, and now Bill Clinton is actually shouting down the minorities who are saying, hey, it was your welfare reform that hurt us.
No, I said this yesterday. This is a repeat of what happened to the Clintons with Barack Obama. These are the same people. They're in a different form. As a matter of fact, I was looking at this article about Bill Clinton, and I thought about it. Okay, we know George Soros. He's the financier of Black Lives Matter, right? Also, Essence Magazine just wrote that Google gave $2.5 million to Black Lives Matter. This guy, Bob McKay, who's the heir to Taco Bell and George Soros and a bunch of other donors, they're pumping a lot of money into Black Lives Matter. For the naive that think this is some ragtag group of blacks who are just angry, no, that's the face, that's the front. And I've said that repeatedly. This is so much deeper. This is like Hillary Clinton. We're just watching her campaign dissolve. She'll get the delegates, as I've said before, but the voters, the people, it's not going to happen.
Well, actually, there's a new AP poll out showing that, who's more unfavorable. Donald Trump is like 69% unfavorability. Hillary's like over 50% or something like that. And, of course, as the election winnows down to just two candidates, that could change. I know a lot of us are not exactly sanguine about Donald Trump's chances. That's why conservatives are trying to make sure that Ted Cruz gets in, and I'm at 6s and 7s over this. Yeah. I'm torn over this. But the thing is that once it gets down to two, maybe Trump is able to lower his unfavorables to like Hillary's level and possibly get elected, but it doesn't look good for him right now.
Let me make a prediction about that. Okay. Should Trump get the nomination, and that's a big question right now, but if he does, I say if Hillary is the nominee, Trump beats Hillary. And I'm going against every poll that exists. Trump will beat Hillary, and here's why. The voters will be so upset because they will feel that she stole the election, that she got it unfairly, that she does not represent them. Now, you may say, so what, they're going to go with Donald Trump? Let me tell you why they will go with Donald Trump. Because he won't be Cruz. And let me explain that. There is a familiarity that voters across, both sides have with Donald Trump. Like it or not, he still represents the outsider. So when they abandon Hillary, follow me on this one, because Bernie is not the nominee, they're going to abandon her. I say about 25% of that voting bloc, and I'm not talking race, I'm just saying Democrats, they're going to go behind Trump.
Well, it's interesting because, all the prognosticators weren't able to predict the Donald Trump phenomenon. So I'm not exactly going to listen to them as if they're Cassandras who can tell us, who if Ted Cruz is his Trojan horse. But here's the thing. No, I agree. And Geraldo's even said that Donald Trump would get 25% of the black vote. The thing is, Barack Obama got, black people to come out to vote. Hillary is not going to get the turnout that she needs in order to beat Donald Trump. That's what, or maybe that's wishful thinking.
Just for a minute, and this is where it gets convoluted. Her problem is not just blacks; it's young whites. It's whites, in general. There is a sense that you are not one of us. You don't represent us. Bernie Sanders does, which is just a brutal irony. I mean, I can't stand this, but this is the way it's lining up, and I'm so afraid that Republicans are going to mirror what certainly is going to happen with the Democrats.
Right, and they will stay home, too. Everybody will stay home.
Yeah.
And then,
Yep.
So let's take a call right now. Let's go to Ron from Edgebrook. Hi, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Thanks, I'm enjoying your program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In regard to Bernie Sanders, it seems to me a craziness that people don't confront him with history.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Berlin Wall. If I was debating Bernie Sanders, I would ask Bernie to explain the Berlin Wall. On one side, in East Berlin, was your paradise, the people's paradise. And on the other side was freedom in the West. And people died trying to get out of your paradise.
Let me tell you something, Ron. Right now. Forget about the Berlin Wall. Worry about Wall Street. Okay, that's it. Because the Pope just came out today and said that men and women should be able to get married, that anybody should be able to get married. But I say the only person who shouldn't be able to get married is somebody from Wall Street who should be castrated. Do you agree with me? You might disagree with me, Ron, but you have to admit I'm making a very good point right now, aren't I?
No, your point is idiotic. Wall Street is a place that allows for commerce to take place amongst millions of people throughout the United States and the world.
Ron, there are 536 billionaires in the United States. If we took all their money, we could make the economy go and pay off our government debts for 2 months.
Hey, Ron.
And then what would we do?
Ron?
I think he's going.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that you are so right about his not having a clear concept of history. You do know where Bernie Sanders spent his honeymoon.
Yes, I understand. In the Soviet Union,
yes,
was
this
Papa
guy,
Joe Stalin.
Absolutely, and that answers the question. This guy, thank you so much, Ron.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
thank
Bernie
you, Ron,
Sanders,
from Edgebrook.
I don't see what people are not getting. What do they care about the health and the future of America? It's nothing. They want a communist-style America. They want a socialist-styled America. And the gullible lemmings that are running behind him saying, oh, he represents us, they don't know what they're walking into.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Watch how fast Deborah can dismount a high horse and then go right to the weather.
Today, rain or snow showers, a high of 42. And then tonight, a snow shower early, clouds breaking, wind subsiding, colder with a low of 24. And then for tomorrow, breezy and cold with times of clouds and sun. And then snow and ice at night, a high of 40. Jim Talamonte, anything nice and smooth on the roads?
How's this, Deborah? The inbound Edens is delay-free. 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, and outbound just 21, Little Heavy Pratt to Niles Center. Inbound Kennedy, stop and go Keeler to the Burn Circle. 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 35 from Montrose, 25 in the Express. Outbound at 17 minutes to Montrose, but 40 to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, 50 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 34 from Manheim. Outbound 34 to Manheim, but 53 to Thorndale with delays on the extension starting at York Road. Stevenson, 49 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Orion is 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow 120 to 176. Northbound slow from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial, we see mild delays from 75th to the Reagan Tollway. From Butterfield to Roosevelt, Army Trail to 290. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. But I mean, after 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
If you're at or nearing retirement, you know the low interest rate environment has changed the rules of retirement. Huge threats also loom that could drastically affect your wealth. You need to guard against the IRS, attorneys, and nursing homes becoming your biggest beneficiaries. The good news is there are strategies to help protect your investment gains in these uncertain economic times. Discover how to do this and much more by attending Retire with Confidence from the Alpha Wealth Group. Tom Fortino, Fox Business contributor and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturdays on AM 560, is hosting this free educational workshop, Retire with Confidence, on Saturday, April 9th in Oak Brook Terrace. To reserve your seat for Retire with Confidence, call the Alpha Wealth Group today at 630-519-4742. Space is limited. This could be the best 60 minutes you invest in your financial future. That's 630-519-4742. 630-519-4742. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
Buenos dias, and thank you so much. We are back here at the Secrets Puerto Los Cabos Golf and Spa Resort in Los Cabos, Mexico. And our trip is sponsored by Artistic Dentistry and Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, and our thanks to Apple Vacations for arranging this wonderful trip.
And we're joined by our friend Steve Leahy, who has a show about tax law, because, that's what he does on the AM 560 World.
Yes, Sunday nights at 5 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
A tequila shot.
Know where you work. But Steven and I, we've become pretty good friends. And guess where Steven's from? Just guess. Not from Pleasantville. Not
Prospect Heights?
No, better. He's from Mount Prospect. MP is in the house. And this is the best story ever. I don't know if you ever heard about
Finally,
this.
someone got out of Mount Prospect and made something with their lives.
Stop
I'm talking about Steve, obviously.
So here's the deal. We both went to the same junior high and high school.
Yeah.
But in junior high, back in the 70s, I wasn't there yet because I was younger, but my sister was there. The kiddies at River Trails Junior High won a concert, and KISS came and performed for 7th and 8th graders.
It was awesome. There was a
bad
Mars
parental
candy.
oversight. Why KISS before 7th and 8th graders? Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons sticking out their tongues.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there was blood and
fire. What's wrong
fire.
with you people?
The fire, the firehouse.
This is
blood.
why you grow up to be delinquents.
Remember, that's 76. That's when KISS was KISS was huge.
This is a huge contest to when I remember it was in the Daily Herald. It was a big deal. But how did you guys win the contest?
So first, it was sponsored by a candy company, and you had to get candy wrappers, or like all
those weren't
contests.
candy wrappers, Steve.
Or you could write on the name of a candy bar on a 3x5 card. And at the school, we did a timing of what words you could type. You could write the fastest. And Marathon Bar turned out to be the one. So we wrote Marathon. It had to be the spring of night of. It was Marathon Bar. Mars Candy Company was the candy company, but they had a bunch of different candies, and so you had to have one of their candies. And Marathon Bar was the one that was easiest to write out.
That is the most bizarre story I've ever heard.
I mean, it's the craziest
Candy
thing.
bars, so the Mars company that's sponsoring KISS to come to a junior high in Mount Prospect.
But this was a nationwide contest, wasn't it?
It was a nationwide contest.
That was our bicentennial year. You should have been thinking about America.
He wasn't. They were thinking.
I was 12 years old. I was 12 years old, so give me a break.
So how was the concert?
It was awesome. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yes.
And that was just the beginning of my concert days because I went to a lot of concerts after that. But KISS was big.
Yeah, Steve, for the Secrets American Idol contest, did a stunning rendition of Lick It Up last night in tribute to that KISS concert.
But I love Gene.
Did you do something?
No, I did not. No.
He did his own little competition of drinking.
I was asleep.
And he won the big prize for the drinking.
I was a little tuckered out.
So
from
Amy
the
and I
day's
have
activities.
that background that we went to high school together. I mean, not together, but at the same high school and same junior high. I've known Dan now I met Dan 20 years ago, I think about.
Yeah, long time.
When we were both in law school at the Federalist Society. So that's been some time.
Thank you so much, Stephen Lay. You can hear his show at 5 o'clock Sunday nights on AM 560 The Answer. And if you want to catch any of the fun we've been having here, go to 560theanswer.com/escape. Find us on Facebook or at Twitter at Morning Answer.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Pete. I've had 3 missing teeth and have been thinking for a while about getting something done to get them replaced. I went to Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics to see what they could do, and I'm glad that I did that. The staff there was fantastic. Dr. Neruzzi made sure I was comfortable during the entire process, always checking to make sure there was no pain. All my visits were very pleasant, and I'm glad I had it done. Another piece that made it fantastic was they worked with me on the payment. As all of us know, these are not inexpensive items to do, so they worked with me on the payment options as well as with my insurance carrier to help minimize my out-of-pocket cost. I feel so much better now that I've had my teeth and my dental implants put in. I feel more confident as I'm walking around. For those of you out there that are missing teeth and thinking about doing this, I would recommend you see Dr. Neruzzi and his staff. They're great, and I would highly recommend them going forward.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did, and that's call David Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage. Kevin, Army veteran, called his realtor's preferred lender who pre-qualified him for a mortgage. When he purchased the home, he called the realtor's preferred lender who forgot his name and didn't have any notes from their previous conversations. Now, Kevin was upset and frustrated, so you know what he did? He called his dad for advice, and Kevin's dad told him to call David because he was the only lender he trusted. David thanked Kevin for his service, answered his questions, and introduced him to his VA loan expert, who is an Air Force veteran who's helped Kevin secure that VA loan. Now, if you're a veteran purchasing a home and would like to work with a team of loan experts who specialize in helping veterans secure VA loans, then you should call David Hochberg right now. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David has helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but guess what? He can't help you if you don't call him. Call him now, 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
AM 560, The Answer.
Bruce Wolf and Deborah Rowe coming up after the news. We say goodbye to American Idol. I say good riddance. Plus, we'll also have, the obligatory Obama bashing on the 9s. And much, much, much more. It's snowing outside. They got to call off they got 2 reasons to call off the Sox opener. There was a fire at Kaminsky Field, and there's snow outside, but maybe the snow is putting out the fire. Let's go to Mike Scott in the newsroom.
Bruce and Deborah, it is snowing outside across much of the Chicagoland area. 36 degrees, and Bill Clinton finds himself back on the hot seat in the middle of his own political debate. While campaigning for his wife in Philadelphia yesterday, protesters from Black Lives Matter began to take Clinton to task for his 1994 Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act.
You are defending the people who kill the lives you say matter. Tell the truth.
Critics say that bill boosted incarceration rates for African Americans. Republican presidential candidate Ted Cruz this morning says the minimum wage is not meant to be a living wage.
You can't provide for a family on that first job. Look, most people aren't providing for their family on that first job. That's when they're just getting started.
Meeting with business leaders in New York, Cruz expanded on his point that the minimum wage is mostly earned by teenagers. Detectives are trying to figure out what caused a fire this morning at the Cell. Officials say the blaze began at the White Sox park at a storage room near Gate 2. A firefighter was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. Patrons are still lining up for a crack at some last-second seats as the Sox home opener is this afternoon. A person is seriously hurt after a car crashes into a Southwest Side Walgreens. Authorities say the accident happened this morning near a store at Harlem and Archer. 3 people are recovering, including 2 sheriff's deputies following a 3-vehicle accident on the Ike. Cook County Sheriff's vehicle was involved along with 2 other cars. A Park Forest police officer shot in the line of duty is out of intensive care. Timothy Jones has been moved to a rehab center and his condition stabilized. The suspect in that gunfight was killed. Federal regulators say the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency must start reimbursing work to pull leaking fuel tanks out of the ground or tell contractors cleaning up the hazards that they are on their own. It's more fallout from the state's 10-month budget standoff. The EPA warning Illinois that it must use money in its leaking underground storage tank fund to pay for the cleanup. But the state right now lacks the spending authority to use that money. Chicago sports. Bulls fading playoff hopes took another hit with a loss to Miami, 106-98. White Sox beat Oakland 6-1. Cubs over Arizona 14-6 on the ice. St. Louis beat the Blackhawks in OT 2-1. The news service of Jackson Hewitt. File with Jackson Hewitt for 100% accuracy, maximum refund guaranteed, and a $50 Walmart e-gift card. Jackson Hewitt, where taxes are less taxing. Minimum tax prep fee required, valid in participating locations. Terms and conditions apply. See jacksonhewitt.com for details. 8:32, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a free-for-all at the GOP convention.
What happens if Trump doesn't get to 1,237? The rules confirm there will be additional balloting. You got to cross the finish line. If you don't, you're not the nominee, and they get to keep voting until they get one. And it still may be Trump or Cruz, but I have a hunch it won't be. Now, that's just my gut.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's spring, time to get catching and cooking. Don't miss Cabela's Spring Great Outdoor Days, their biggest sale of the season in Hoffman Estates or Hammond and Cabela's.com. Antiques, vintage collectibles, and more. The Antique Market is this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds, Grays Lake. Saturday 9 to 4, Sunday 9 to 3. ZircoPromotions.com.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today, CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
It is 8:35, and in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, the latest this morning with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has delays from Costner to Ohio. It's 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 40 from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound 18 minutes to Montrose, but 45 to O'Hare. Inbound Edens is good, 19 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Slow Devon to Church. Inbound Eisenhower, 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 34 from Manheim. Outbound 37 to Manheim, but it's an hour to Thorndale with heavy delays from North Avenue to around 83. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound it's fine. Lakeshore Drive southbound slow Irving Park to Fullerton and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial slow 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Roosevelt to St. Charles and Army Trail to 290. Northwest Indiana's good. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Morning rain or snow shower. In fact, snowing right now officially at O'Hare. Then more rain and snow expected for the afternoon, high 42. A snow shower overnight till about midnight. Then clouds should break. Winds subside with a colder evening ahead, a low of 24. 35 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. And with Dan and Amy and listeners in Mexico, Chicago's Morning Answer continues next with Bruce Wolf and Deborah Rowe on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, one of Chicagoland's most respected names in retirement planning. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for information.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Bruce Wolf and Deborah Rowe, and I wanted to talk, Deborah, about Cruz, whether he needs to hit 50%, or Hillary, and Bernie Sanders didn't even know that at the Metro system that they don't use tokens anymore. Right? So, but it's all going to be moot in a while because it looks like Paul Ryan's going to be the nominee because he's got a video out right now that looks like a campaign ad. So that's so. We'll table that discussion for our shows for our shows at the convention that we're going to be doing.
That's right.
So, meantime, you heard the music there, and that's American Idol. Last episode last night. Now, I hated American Idol. I despised
all the time, all 15 years or recently.
Well, actually, we named a Chihuahua of ours Clay after Clay Aiken.
Really?
I mean, and the dog has been dead for a few years. We loved Clay. But, I mean, that's how far back American Idol goes. I mean, he lived a nice, long, fruitful life. But but I hated the show, and I'll tell you why. Because I used to be on Fox, and then did we play off it on the morning show? Oh, we're going to get ratings because American Idol was on the night before. Yeah, sure. So we would have the local contestants, especially in the early rounds, who would come on our show. And the thing was, a lot of those people who bombed out, like in the first round, they had things wrong with them. And
really?
Simon would make fun of them. He was making fun of people with learning disabilities or weight problems or whatever. And we'd look, and these people would come on, and would you talk to them, and it was like sad. And so I don't like so.
Sad.
And so I would tell like my daughters, I would say, don't watch American Idol because it's Schadenfreude. It's
translation.
It's getting joy at the suffering of others. I mean, you're feeling good about yourself because somebody else looks bad. And I don't like picking on people that way. I always believe you should punch up, which is why I'll make fun of like Ron Majors or Carol Marine or Dan Brown. But it's picking, and so I hated the show for that reason.
Well, I watched like the first 2 seasons, and believe it or not, even on WLS, every show had to do a segment on American Idol early on because they all felt America watches American Idol.
Well, do you know how Dan Proft actually got into radio
I know how
a lot?
He did that.
He was like the American Idol correspondent for Don and Roma.
Which was pretty funny.
And it's also funny because it's Dan, and he's so, how he I never heard it, how he would weave in first principles and a value proposition. And the guy doesn't sing either.
But
so
he dances.
Does he dance?
He dances.
Oh, does he dance? Should we take Sean from Elmwood Park?
Why not? It's my last day. Let me get my last whoop.
I think he wants to talk to you. I think he wants to talk to you. And Sean, be nice, and do it all in 46 seconds.
All Paula Abdul was missing was a "Make America Trump" hat. That moron that she was. So I was reading yesterday about Trump, and I read the name Paul Manafort.
Yeah.
Now you've been around a while, Bruce. Do you remember Paul Manafort? Do you remember that name?
Gerald Ford, 76. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And in the 80s and during the Reagan administration, he was the Bush lobbyist sycophant involved in the HUD scandal.
So this is Donald Trump. Oh, go ahead.
Of tens of millions per state. Of course, nothing ever happened because when you have that kind of Clinton clout, you can squash pretty much anything. But my favorite part is more recently than Trump becoming Trump's new Himmler. What I liked more recently is when he was a money launderer, for the oligarch in Lithuania. He was the guy who was washing the oligarch's money in American real estate, a la Valerie Jarrett style.
So what's the problem? What's the problem here, Sean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he is now the number. I mean, we keep backing into this game. And Deborah, I don't know you from a chili pepper. You sound like a wonderful woman. You really do.
Thank you, sir.
But here's the
She's
thing.
a red hot chili pepper, I must say.
Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you give up your fundamentals, when you ask other people to do so, when you support this kind of debauchery scum of our system that has turned us all into servants of a government that doesn't represent us but rules over us, when you do that, you're not selling out your own. You're selling out those yet to be born. So go ahead, give me your best Dr. Hubbard chuckle and tell me where I'm wrong.
I don't even know Dr. Hubbard. Sean, thank you. Here's the thing. I usually... Oh, okay.
It's Dr. Hubbard. It sounds just like Danny Davis.
I will say this. Having voted for Ted Cruz, my whole position is this. Please, 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 Republicans, conservatives, independent conservatives, don't make the mistake that was made that opened the White House for Barack Obama. Don't be so rooted in, this clash that it can't be repaired. The reason I don't fear Donald Trump is just really two reasons. One, I know he loves America. I believe that. I know at least one guy on the other side does not love America. And number two, Trump's ego is so big, there is no way he's going to allow history. This is if he were to become president. There's no way he's going to allow history to say that he was a failure, that the American people fired him. He's going to do his best for the people.
He's throwing out the tariff. It's just an opener in the negotiation. He's going to wind up being a free trader.
He'll negotiate.
Everything's going to be fine. Thank
TPP.
You. Thank you, Uncle Deborah.
Don't make me go there, Bruce, because you know I will. Okay.
Rush Row. We'll be back more with Rush Row in just a moment. Ding, 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 ding.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Look at the weather with Deborah.
Yeah, look at it. Today, rain, and they say or snow shower. We can settle that right now. There is a snow shower. High today of 42. Tonight, a snow shower early, then clouds breaking, wind subsiding, colder with a low of 24. And then for tomorrow, breezy and cold with times of clouds and sun. Snow and ice at night, a high of 40. Hey, Jim Talamonte, I've had a wonderful week just getting my traffic from you.
Well, thank you, Deborah. Appreciate that. It's been great having you and Bruce here. On the expressways right now, it's pretty good. Now, with that snow, again, figuring to be a factor this afternoon, along with the White Sox traffic on the south side, if you home opener, you'll have probably a rougher afternoon rush than we've had this morning. All things considered, it's really not too bad. The Edens has no inbound delays. Outbound, about a 6-minute slow pocket from Devon to Church Street. Inbound Kennedy, 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown. The delays are from Costner to Ohio. Express lanes will save you 8 to 10 minutes. Outbound, 45 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, 50 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 34 from Manheim. Outbound, 37 to Manheim, about an hour to Thorndale. For some reason, it's really slow from North Avenue to around 83. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The Ryan is 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, the northbound Veterans Memorial have only mild delays. Northwest Indiana is all clear. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks Upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and often people tell me that they have been hearing our advertisements for years. What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life.
It's a very good product, even if I open the capsules. It tastes very good.
I like it. That's why I'm reordering it. Matter of fact, I think I may give it to my son. You can't point to anything except you suddenly realize you're not dizzy anymore, you don't have a headache anymore, you're sleeping pretty good. It's not a case of where this hurts and now it doesn't hurt anymore. It's difficult for people to realize it's helping them because they're feeling like they should feel.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Learn how to take the guesswork out of investing with Arlington Capital Management's Proactive Asset Allocation Strategy, or PAS. Learn about it live in Orland Park on April 12th at 6:30 p.m. or in Arlington Heights on April 16th at 10 a.m. Call 855-471-5796 to reserve your space. Change in the market shouldn't take you by surprise. On average, markets tend to change cycles about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital has developed proprietary tools designed to help them see beyond your investment horizon. Join Arlington Capital's President, Joe Lopresti, for a free seminar that can show you the secrets of PAS and what they can mean for your portfolio, especially in today's markets. You don't have to be at the mercy of today's market. Take control of your investments and join Joe live in Orland Park on April 12th at 6:30 p.m. or in Arlington Heights on April 16th at 10 a.m. Call 855-471-5796. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Bruce Wolf and Deb Rowe in for Dan and Amy. We got a text from 847. It's actually Dr. Hibbard. I said Hubbard of The Simpsons. I should know that. And from 773, we've got Paul Ryan is going to be the nominee because of beta males like you, Bruce. You know Trump's doing the right thing, but then it cut off there. So the call me a beta male. By the way, where should we go right now? What should we do on the show now, dear? Okay.
Now he asked me, ladies and gentlemen,
well, I'm
4
a beta
days,
male.
3 hours, and 45 minutes later, he asked me.
So what should we, dear? What should we talk about?
Yeah.
Yes, dear.
Well, stop, Bruce.
Okay.
More. What does it say here? Move over, Rat Pack and Brat Pack. Here comes the Snap Pack.
Okay.
Do you know what a Snap Pack is?
I don't know. Where's this story from so other people can follow?
Actually, it's from the New York Times, from the fashion and style section.
No, I don't know what the Snap Pack is. What is the Snap Pack?
It's just when a bunch of friends are together, like they have a picture here in this article where all of these, attractive-looking people, and they're all wealthy, by the way.
New York's elite, the
yes,
Kennedy
Barron
heirs.
Hilton and all of these people.
Sure.
But they're all together
young people.
at this table, and nobody's talking to one another. They are all looking at their phones, their cameras, and chatting and all of that kind of stuff. They don't want to chat with the person sitting next to them.
But their whole reason for going out, where it used to be like with a Rat Pack, back the old Rat Pack or anybody else, or you would go out, maybe you take a picture and somehow post it or whatever, or send it, get it developed at the 1 hour photo or something. Now people go out, specifically young people, cool people, rich people who have nothing better to do with their lives. They go out for the express purpose of being on Snapchat.
And see,
not to go out for the thing itself.
I'm thinking it's not just something that rich people do.
Right.
I'm thinking it's just what young people do. Because have you ever really, looked around, you're in a restaurant or whatever, and the young people, they're sitting there, and every single person to a number at the table, they have a phone in their hand.
Right. It's narcissism to the nth degree.
But then they want to take a million selfies. They take pictures of what they have for breakfast, lunch, dinner, what's in their closet, how many grass cuttings are on the ground, and they just take pictures. It's like an obsession.
I remember a few years ago there was a statistic that the number of photos taken in the prior year was more than all the photos that had been taken in the history of the world.
Bruce, I honestly saw something like that. That's
because
amazing.
of cell phones. And, we come from, an older era when, a Polaroid was a beautiful thing. A Polaroid land camera.
You go back to your parents' home, you go to the attic, and you pull out the photo albums. Right. And that's how you reflect on, the past.
Look, I'm as guilty as anyone else. When I'm, babysitting for my grandchildren, I get so exhausted. First of all, there's a couple of them are identical twins.
Oh.
All you have to do is give them the cell phone. They're hypnotized.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Between that and watching Shimmer and Shine on the TV, you just basically put them in a catatonic state. But you give them a cell phone, and they are mesmerized, and they are so facile with it, even like at age 2. They can perform functions that are beyond my ken. But I understand that these older, especially young people now, they go out, they're so self-referential, they're just talking about themselves. And if I can even get even worse about it, there was this article in National Review, can't cite the exact site, but it's about porn. And it's like young males are getting access to porn, and they become so addicted to it that once they are of marriage age and whatever, there's no possibility that any female can ever satisfy them because they're so addicted to porn at a young age.
Now, that's not new research, though. That couldn't be. In the age of the internet, which has been around for what?
Right.
30 years?
I guess so.
Yeah.
But even of late, it's getting so bad.
So bad.
And so in other words, we're ending this week by saying the apocalypse is upon us. There is no hope for the future. We are the last generation. It's horrible. It's horrible. Well, think about it. That Snapchat thing or Snap Pack thing is terrible, that they're going out for the purpose of just taking pictures of themselves. It's not attendant to them going out and having a good time. The good time is the picture.
Or as my husband says to my son all the time, it's eroding your people skills. It's eroding your people skills.
People don't talk anymore. People are so narcissistic, they will go on the radio and basically talk to themselves and barely pay attention to their partner on the radio.
You know what? I think that's true.
Yeah.
I really do. We are short here. I don't know how much time, but I don't want to go away because I want to say a couple of things.
Go right ahead. Would you like some patriotic music in the background? Would you?
No, something
jazzy. Is this your
jazzy.
farewell address?
It's
a little
something
jazz.
Jazzy.
Little jazz.
Yeah.
Sweet Take 5.
First of all, you misled me. You misled
Sanford
me.
and Son?
You misled me.
Racist scum.
He knew that's what you were going to ask for, so he just got ahead of you.
Sanford and Son.
That's not jazzy, by the way,
No,
Dave.
it's not at all. Give
This
me a
is
little
what
Oscar Peterson.
That's not even jazzy. Just cut the music since you don't even have a clue.
Now that is jazzy. Yes. All right.
No, I was going to say you misled me.
How did I do that?
You told me on day 1 that you like to sing. You only sang one day only.
Let's sing a song together. Let's sing it out here. What do you want to sing?
No, I'm not going to sing because I want to say I really enjoyed working with you. I may as well say for you, but it really was with you.
The passive aggressiveness of you. Really, and I want to get back to roots here. You are like somebody
from
the
roots. Well,
from the old South. It's basically, oh yeah, Massa Bruce, I love you. You're wonderful, Massa Bruce.
See, I knew this, ladies and gentlemen. I was setting him up for that. He could not end a week or a day without it. But I still love you. I enjoyed working with you so very much.
Give me a song. We got
Mike
30 seconds.
Scott, also Dave Stribling.
Yeah. Okay.
And
what's the producer's name? You don't even know his name.
Yes, I do. His name is Caesar Perez.
Caesar Perez.
Yes, I do. So you think I don't know stuff because I don't
What's the name
just
of the program director?
I do know this is Marcus
name?
Brown.
What's the name of the general manager?
May I continue?
Okay.
I stopped just in time because I really didn't know.
I'm so glad we had this time together. Just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems it just gets started and the party's over.
And before you know it,
comes the time we have to say so long. Hot dog.
That was actually fairly horrendous.
Ah.
You've actually got worse, I think.
That's what I think.
Over a half century ago, a respected firearms store opened. It started as a hobby to Mike Schrank and now serves generations of customers. Schrank's Smoke and Gun retains a family atmosphere, and now they carry the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms in Lake County. From pistols, rifles, and shotguns to hard-to-find calibers, collectibles, and older functioning hunting rifles, you'll also find full gunsmith services from simple detail cleaning to complete rebuilds. Whether you're thinking about your first firearm and a FOID card or looking to add to your collection, go to Schrank's Smoke and Gun. If you have a firearm to sell, Schrank's is the place to do it. And if you love cigars, you'll find your favorites in Schrank's humidors along with a broad selection of pipes and tobacco. Visit smoke_gun.org or call 847-662-4034. Schrank's Smoke and Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964. That's 847-662-4034.
Honey, please pass me my cocktail.
Here you go, babe. Sunset sure is pretty after a long day at the beach.
I could get used to living life in swimwear.
We can start booking our next trip tomorrow while sitting around at the pool.
You've been pretty lucky that you've been able to spend some quality time in the sun. Something that you may not be so lucky with is the fact that 1 in 5 people will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. At Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, they know that most people are unaware of the effects that a lifetime of sun can have on their skin. If you've been sunburned in your lifetime, it's time to have your skin checked out. Call Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates at 855-560-SKIN. or visit skinhealthpros.com. The doctors at Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates have your skin health covered. Skin cancer kills, so today's the day to get your skin checked. Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates,